pizza.
Eggs and turkey bacon breakfast sandwich
Mm,
and coffee, green tea.
coffee.
Coffee.
Gotta have
Oh,
your coffee.
I don't know if you caught it in Twitch there, Gold, because you were busy playing, but I have a message from Hannah to pass along to you. She likes your beard like daddy's.
That's so sweet. I'm not sure I totally get it. I mean, she's just saying we both have a beard.
Yeah, it's just the 4-year-old way of saying she likes your beard because it's like daddy's, even though yours is like 10 times the length of mine. I'm actually jealous. Yours gets that long. I can barely get half an inch on my face, and then it just stops growing.
Huh.
Does it chip off?
It doesn't do anything. It
Huh.
just stops growing.
Mm.
On my chin, it'll go to about 3 or 4 inches, but on my cheeks, it just goes maybe half an inch, 3/4 inch, and it's done.
Huh.
Previously on Chains of Ice.
We got our asses kicked.
Is my voice changer working?
I'll take that as a yes.
I have got to get that thing and play around with it.
I'll give you the link.
It's great. Yeah, somebody sent me the link. Yeah. Yeah, somebody send it to me again. That would be great. It doesn't mess up your sound settings, right? It's not gonna kill my sound settings on my PC, right?
It will until you restart your PC.
Okay.
So just don't download it right now, and you'll be fine.
I don't think the DM should stream just because
Yeah, I've got lots of like notes and stuff all over the place. It'll look like a mess.
that's just my opinion. I don't think the DM should ever stream because it gives the players a chance to, peek in the background.
Shh, Paul, that was supposed to be a secret.
Well, I think the only one that'd take advantage of that in this group is you.
Actually, I wouldn't. I don't meta.
I mean, a circus bear's got to have some kind of advantage.
Oh,
do. I have a
we
very
almost
large
made
spear.
it. We almost made it to the start of the game without Circus Bear being brought up.
It's all right.
Okay, so he'll bear through it.
That's okay. He gets back at me with all his party killing jokes.
Whereas I'm not actually a dancing bear, but you have got the huge potential to be a party killer. Not a joke, mate. Deadly serious.
I don't know, man. I've seen the emotes where you start dancing around and slathered in grease and shit. And that looks like dancing bear to me.
It's ancient tribal dances, man. It's not. It's got nothing to do with a circus.
So is this on Twitch right now?
Yeah.
Should I open up a link and add to the support and subscribe to that stuff? Well, maybe not subscribe, but
Follow or whatever wording they use.
Yeah. Follow.
All right, so I think we'll kick off. So you guys, last week you defeated the wedding, which could potentially have gone wrong, as certain names were mentioned, but we won't mention who mentioned them. You decided to spend the night in one of the kicked-in houses. So naturally it was cold, but you've all got weather gear, and it's not. I rolled for the weather; it wasn't particularly bad. It was a clear night. You spend the night fairly uneventfully. You're able to sleep. If you post your guards who's staying up, who you pretty much just spend the night and it's peaceful. the curse of the town must obviously keep like all the wildlife away. There's no random things walking around, and it is strangely quiet. There's not the usual owl sounds or environmental sounds. So when the sun inevitably rises, you will come to. You'll wake up. You can get your natural healing for that, unless anyone's got any NWPs like medicine or anything like that that they can give to people. And you all awaken. The weather outside is still clear. It's not snowing. It's still cold, but it's not a cold that will do you any damage. And you're all awake.
Okay. You notice that Webkey is actually snuggled up and not awake. Sorry to contradict you.
That's okay. So the question is, what are you guys going to do?
Well, first thing Rad's going to do is he's going to go out to the side of the building, and he's going to, you know, the statue that was broken down last week.
Mm-hmm.
He's going. Is it in bits? Is it like shattered into
It's-
1,000 pieces, or is it just?
It fell on its side, and kind of a big crack goes up through the center of it. It's not actually fully split open, but it's got like a big rent.
Right. What would be the chances of me tearing the head off of it?
It wasn't stone, and it was lighter, so you have a very good chance of tearing the head off it.
Well, I'm going to tear the head off it then.
Okay. You kind of use one of your giant paw-like hands, and you encase the whole head in one of them. You kind of twist it off, and it comes off.
Right. That's my job done.
Do try not to get hurt again, Road. You're almost dead. Do we have a healer amongst us?
Do not talk to me, deceiver. You ran from battle.
It didn't look very good, Road. Even you should admit that. I mean, look at your wounds. You're the toughest among us.
Yes, yes. But if you had been here, I might not have had these wounds.
If I'd have been near, I'd have died.
No, because I was fighting them all.
Why is everyone talking so loudly?
Because I always talk loudly. It is part of my charm.
It's so bright. She puts on her steampunkish goggles that are like dark lensed. She sits up like a doll.
I'm going to sniff the morning ALX to see if there's anything untoward in the area.
So you sniff the air, and you can smell nothing much really. There are natural foresty smells, but there's none of that kind of foul smell that you got from the cannibal, or definitely no smells of the dead, apart from the dead, the bits of the dead that litter this place. But there's no sort of warning smells or nothing that sort of catches your nose. And as you're sniffing around, thinking about smells, you remember that it's probably breakfast, and your stomach gives that a telltale rumble, and you think about how good the food was when you're in civilization and not outside in the cold.
So it seems that Zombie Child isn't very filling then.
Oddly enough, no.
I suggest we head back to town. We have money to claim.
Yes, of course, Rod. All in good time.
Road.
Wait,
Right, that is-
how are we gonna claim money? Weren't we supposed to find his sister?
I think Moon might have been his sister.
Was that the little zombie girl?
We could take what's left of her back. And if he is willing to wait about 6 to 8 hours, I can bring the rest.
Oh God.
Oh, no. If you want to gather up the remains of the girl, you certainly can do.
Well, I'm not digging any graves around here. It'd be like digging into concrete.
Webkey walks out of the house, kind of like staggers a little bit, trying to wake herself up. Her head turns from side to side, bobs up and down. She does kind of that chicken walk, you know, that the chickens do in the morning.
Yeah.
Wakey, wakey, Web.
I don't know how you stand being up during the day. It's so bright.
Best
ground
part
is
of
as
the
bright
day
as
is
the
the
sky.
daytime. You get to see everything you want to see.
Wakey,
I think there's-
wakey, eggs and bakey.
Too much to see.
Well, you could close your eyes.
She taps on the little goggles that she has on. You can barely
So I
see the.
suggest we break our fast, and then eat something, and then head back to town.
She lets out an echoing bird call, kind of a kind of like noise, and she leans to one side, and then she flies off for a moment.
I'm going to start eating one of my bear-sized ration packs.
Okay. The bear-sized ration pack it's a pretty much a traveling ration. It's stone cold though, so it's fairly unpleasant.
I wasn't expecting cute and cuddly. How thick is the ice on over the water?
On the little lake.
Yeah.
Strong enough for you to stand on.
No, I was thinking about breaking it and then getting some water, some fresh water.
You could break it. It's only ice.
Yeah, smash it with my massive bare hands,
Okay, you kind of Hulk smash it.
and then sort of drink a mouthful. To
Is
see if
it
it's any good.
really? Is it really gonna be fresh? I mean, undead came up out of it.
That's a lot of water for little undead.
Yes. Roll me a con check, please.
Disease.
Thanks, Paul.
You're the one that drank water that
Thanks,
had dead
Paul.
people in it. Don't you thank me.
I'm sure
What
you'll be
did-
fine. You must have a decent con.
What did you expect when you drink water that had dead people in it?
No, I rolled one more than my con.
Oh,
So-
wow.
Okay. Wasn't actually expecting you to fail that. So you drink the water and you as you're drinking it down, it seems to be normal, but then as the water's sort of sliding over your tongue, you get this horrible feeling like there's something in your mouth, and you kind of catch it in your teeth and pull it out, and looks like a child's finger that's been frozen, and you take one look at it and vomit. You're like, oh, that's disgusting. Blah.
Why would I do that? It's like a 3-course meal.
I eat it.
You tend not to eat sentient creatures.
Oh, my bad. Last week was a bit of an issue then, I guess. No, well, I'll continue eating from my ration pack then.
Okay.
So the trauma of Webkey's first battle on this plane that she's stuck on, the emotions of it all, she lost track of where her goat was, and now she's kind of looking for the goat. Did it survive the night on its own?
The goat. Interesting about the goat. Let's see. You can't see the goat. There's no like hideous goat death or anything. You just can't see it.
Maybe he went back to the village. She kind of like looks around and she says that to herself, and she goes back to the group.
Hello, little Web.
My goat went back to the village. He's a good goat.
I'm gonna sniff the air for goat.
Okay. You have a little sniff for the goat. The goat headed off towards the west, which is the opposite way to the village.
Yes, yes, it must have gone to the village.
And as you're sniffing, you can smell the fire that Yaslana makes, and the boiling of the water as well.
Well, that's interesting.
She turns her head 180 degrees and looks back at the house. I thought we were moving, not eating.
Ah, you know these little people, Webb. They must fill their small bellies. Well,
So-
larger than your belly, I must say.
She gets close to him. Where was he during the fight? What happened? I fell asleep.
He ran away. He's like a little chicken boy.
Yes, there's this instinct that we survivors have. It's called fear. Perhaps you should learn it.
There's another word for that, you know, called cowardice.
Yes, yes, little Webb.
Yes, well, for the time being, call me a coward then. Whatever.
That is okay. I have already started nicknaming you Coward.
Did anyone see where the mage was? There was a mage present. They cast a spell on me. I fell asleep. I was
I
blinded.
do not know. I did not see any mages. I killed everyone.
I'm telling you, there was magic here. She walks over to the group. She looks at at this guy. There we go. As he plays with his glowing orb.
It'd be nice if I actually had a glowing orb. I just thought that was a cool picture.
What is your name? She looks at him.
I am Yaslana.
Is that Gypsy or something?
No, it's my name.
Her head turns around, completely around. She looks back at Road and back at him like she wants to say something, but she doesn't.
At this point, Road's going to look at Webb and go, shh, shh. You must not mention the gypsies. That is considered bad against their race.
Her head turns completely around again, looking at the other two at the table and seeing what they're doing. So what are they doing exactly?
Sun is going through the desk, having a look to see what's there. Yaslana had made a little fire and was boiling up some water. And the rogue, the strange rogue, has never introduced himself, but seems to be shadowing you guys, is kind of chilling in the corner in that kind of thiefy rogue way.
And she turns her head in that thievy rogue in the corner.
What? Me?
Just peers at him like an owl. She takes a moment to work out what's going on in the room, and then she finds that this is not interesting at all. So then she steps outside and she flutters up to the top of the house and perches there looking, kind of mirroring Road, checking out the area. Is it snowing out?
No, it's a clear day.
Okay. So it's probably pretty bright. Okay, cool.
Yeah, it's pretty unpleasant for you.
Yaslana becomes the fixation of her fascination right now. And she just stares at him.
At this point, Rhodes starts having a conversation with someone you can't see. It's he's talking to himself. Well, he's talking to himself, but he's talking to his own tongue. So I don't think anyone understands how to speak my tongue. It's kind of like Wookiee.
Okay.
Webkey she'll fly over to Yaslana. Distraction.
Yes. How can I help you?
Oh, did I ask a question? She just looks at you.
You seem to have something on your mind.
What is that belt made of? She stares down at your belt.
The merchant told me squirrel, but I think it's rabbit.
I've found something interesting, Road. Perhaps you'd like to take a look at it.
Okay, coward. What have you seen?
Well, inside this desk here, I've found this key. And upon this key, and I hand Road the key. Upon this key, I found a mark, a small leaf on one side.
Okay, I take the key in one massive hand and I bring it up really close to my eyes. My eyesight not being the best in the world. It looks at it and goes, yes, it looks like a key.
You could, as you're a native of the region, you could roll an intelligence and see if you've ever come across the symbol.
Oh, I rolled low. Nice.
Yee.
So I am the sharpest bear in the chisel.
Mm-hmm.
What is the key?
So you have a look at it. You look at the little leaf on the side, and you recognise the markings on it, and you kind of think to yourself, "I'm sure I've seen that somewhere before. Where have I seen that before?" And then you remember when you were in town last. There was you were on the front door of the inn because that's where you work as the bouncer. You were looking out onto the street, and one of the residential houses, the door was getting kicked in by the Inquisition. And one of the inquisitors on his quite regal cloak had a coat of arms, and on that coat of arms was that same leaf. You're pretty sure, because it's very stylized, pretty sure it's the same one.
Ah, this key. I remembered something. I must discuss it with Groll. Starts talking to Groll in his own tongue.
Very well, Road. You can hang on to the key for now. Don't lose it, though. Do you have a pouch to keep it in?
Lose what?
Of course.
Okay. Nice conversation.
Run along now, Road.
Do I look like a child bear to you?
Not at all. You're twice the size
I
of
do
me.
not run. I lope.
Then lope along, then.
Okay then, little people. Shall we leave?
Yes, of course. I tire of these environs.
So are you some sort of poet? She says to Yaslana. A writer, perhaps. A bard.
Well, I'm writing a journal of my adventures out here in the wild. So if I die, whoever finds it might not make the same mistakes that I made.
Would this journal include words such as ab? She turns and she looks around. She might hear something. Abjuration? Alteration, perhaps?
Those words are very unfamiliar to me. I'm sorry.
She kind of just steps back for a moment, kind of looks around, like, okay. I guess not. Now, it says on there, did anyone else hear that silence? What does that mean exactly? Did he say something?
Out of character, you'll find out that Yaslana is truly chaotic neutral.
An odd fellow.
Once he's finished constructing the sled, he walks over to Webb and he says, "Hey, little Webb, since you lost your goat, you can ride the sled back."
Thank you. It would hurt my talons to walk so far. Yes,
Not
Lana.
a problem. I will pull it because I am a strong bear.
You know much about this, yes, Lana? She looks over and points to him.
I'm so tempted to swallow the key. Best place to keep it, inside the road.
It'll come back up.
I mean, we'd get it back eventually.
Exactly. It's not like it'd be gone forever.
He seems
6
to
to
be
8
an
hours later, is it
explorer.
There are many of them around Little Web.
Yes, but he carries a club, so maybe he's a rope maker.
He's a rope maker. Why is that relevant?
Well, he has darts, too. What
I
would a
have a
rope
spear.
maker want with darts?
Maybe he likes to play darts like in the tavern.
Oh. And she kind of, her head spins around and she really starts to bend her mind on that one. What does it all mean?
Why is everyone so weird?
You know, it's
Why
disturbing
would,
that the
why would
owl
any man
girl
carry
is
a
the
club
one
and have
thinking.
darts on him?
Okay,
Right,
so
Lex, you know the other house across the other side?
yeah,
There was nothing in the other house, was there? Well, I could see
no,
before the roof.
the
caved in.
roof. No, before the roof caved in, there were more bodies in that house that were resurrected. But other than that,
Mhm.
it had been looted. There's broken
Okay, well,
furniture.
I'm going to do another perception check, but I'm going to sniff around and see if I can find anything hidden under the walls or in the walls or under the floor or anything like that
Mhm.
before we leave.
Can have a snuffle.
Have a snuffle.
No, it's been looted quite a long time ago. There's just frozen, broken stuff. There's nothing really of import.
So, I have a question. Maybe you smarter people can answer for me. Something is bugging me. This young boy we saw yesterday, the young deceiver child. He said that he had just come from this village, and we needed to come here to find his sister and his mother and his family. Yes,
Yes.
but this place looks like it has been dead and deceased for a long time,
Oh, I've
not
got
just
an
a couple of days.
awful feeling now.
So something is wrong with that child. We must go back and beat him until he tells us what is going on.
No, you're right. Maybe he's undead. Maybe he's attacking the town.
Oh no, because we cannot have the tavern being attacked. That is my home.
But why wouldn't he be affected and the rest of his family? Well, no. Why would he not be affected?
I do not understand the undead. I understand spirits. Spirits I can talk about.
Oh, so you think he's a ghost?
No, no, no. He's far too pretty to be a ghost.
Her head spins around and she watches Svetlana like moving around.
I think he's going crazy. Can he actually hear us?
Yes, I can hear you.
Oh, okay. Wonder
She
why you're
gets-
getting a bit mad in the corner.
She gets in the cart.
Okay, you hop onto the improvised sled.
Yes, let us go beat the boy and get some more questions.
Okay, you can
Dragging
certainly
the
head
sled
back to
behind
the town.
Yeah, dragging the sled behind me.
Okay, so you guys start to head back towards the town. And as you're going, about halfway through your journey, the snow begins to fall. And it's not a blizzard, but it's significant enough to where the snow starts to pile up around your ankles. And the going gets harder, apart from Frasun, who seems to walk across the top of the snow as though he will nothing, like he weighs nothing at all. And of course Webb, who's enjoying being pulled along, although you do have to occasionally brush the snow off you, otherwise it starts to gather, and for a creature as light as yourself, it begins to get heavy.
Does the dress make me feel any warmer or keep me warm in any fashion?
No, it just feels like a dress. You do have that one level against coldness, so it's not a big deal yet.
Right.
But you do just feel like you're wearing a wedding dress. The snow keeps falling, and luckily Road is strong and can pull the sled through the snow fairly easily. You'll start to make your way back to the town, and as you start to close on the town, you notice that it's not burning. There's no screaming. There's no people running. So the attack theory perhaps isn't what's going on, much to your relief. Other than that, your journey is largely uneventful. The animals seem to keep out of your way. You're not harassed by anyone on the road. Probably the snow's keeping the bandits in their lairs and the ne'er-do-wells in their houses.
Or the chance of the giant fucking bear man walking through the tundra.
Well, yeah, there is that too. It is a bit of a disturbing sight.
My people might not be well known, but they are probably well known for being aggressive.
Yislana calls out after about half a day's walk that he's left his pot, demands that you all stop.
Well, that was very silly. I'll buy you a new pot.
Don't really need it. It was just nice when we wanted water.
We have plenty of snow. Eat the snow. Not the yellow stuff, though.
So you continue on, and you close in on the town. It's getting late. The sun's starting to dip beneath the horizon, and the cold is beginning to bite at you, especially on Webb, who's just wearing a wedding dress. As you walk down the streets, people are going about their businesses. The standard shops are starting to close. People are returning from the places that they work, and the snow's gathered on the streets. The wind kind of whips at you, and you close in on the inn. And as you get to the inn door, you'll kind of kick the snow off your feet and your shoes, respectively, and you push open the door.
She'll flutter the snow off of her outside, and she'll step in.
Cool. As you guys open the door, you can see that it's only just evening. It's fairly empty. Listy's talking with two Prune elves. One of them is a burly-looking fellow. His hair's kind of like matted, which is unusual for an elf. It's kind of tied back into dreads. Over his shoulder, he's got an absolutely huge axe. It's way oversized for his size. It would be a large axe even for Erd. And he looks like this. He doesn't wear a whole lot of armor. His upper body is largely scarred. It looks like he's seen a lot of combat. And he's accompanied by another male elf who is dressed much more regally. He has the emblem of the Inquisition on his back, on his cloak.
Is that the leaf symbol?
No, it's not the leaf symbol. His is just a general. It doesn't have a crest on it. It's just a general sign of Auril. And yep.
I was gonna say, is it? I think you might have said it, but is it? And I'll listen closer next time. Is it nighttime yet, or is it evening yet?
Yeah, it's getting to about 6, 7 o'clock, so
Okay.
the sun's dipping and it's becoming late.
Okay, thanks.
And
As I
you,
walk into the tavern, I yell out, "Hey, Listy, we have returned from our journey."
she's in a discussion with this Inquisitor. She must have heard you, but she doesn't answer you. Unusually, she's not usually rude like that. And as you sort of get closer, you catch part of the conversation. She says, "This is outrageous. You can't do this at all. I have a license. I have a right to be here and trade. I was given it by her mighty goddess Auril's Inquisition itself. It's all sanctioned. It's all in the book." And the regal Inquisitor sort of looks at her and says, "This is true, but the tithes are required. We will take them as we're supposed to take them, and you will follow the law. I don't want trouble here. You've always been good. You've always been law-abiding in every way. Give over what you owe." And the dude with the axe just kind of stands there looking mildly bored.
Stomps up behind both of them and just like towers over them.
The one with the axe turns around and faces you and kind of cocks his head to the side.
Gives him a big bear grin.
Webkey will kind of change herself back into Kiki
Okay.
as a kind of disguise in a way, because she doesn't want these people to know who she is, because these people are trouble.
The dude with the axe looks at you, Road, and he says, "Take a step back, or I'll shave you."
I would not look good shaved. Shaved better looks bad.
I
But
agree.
I am the bouncer here, and I am just making sure that Listy is okay.
Oh, that one? The human? Yeah, she's okay. I don't want her head. Step back, friend.
I am not your friend, but I will step back only because Listy has told me with her eyes that I must.
You do notice that Listy kind of looks at you in a kind of relieved, "Oh God, you didn't start a fight" way.
God, thank God you didn't start eating the guests.
Yeah, son, you call out for Celesta, and you can see that the kid is behind the bar, and he's cowering behind the bar and kind of like looking over the top. Listy takes out a pouch. It's about the size of a small sack. In fact, it looks very heavy, and she pops it in the hand of the guy with the axe. "I'll pay you because I have to, but not because I should. This is outrageous." You people, how's anyone supposed to turn a profit on this frozen isle? The Inquisitor smiles and nods. He says, "Good. I'm glad you saw it our way, Listy. It would be terrible if we had to change the management. Now, I have other people to see. Make sure you stay out of trouble. And in future, if your guild is to operate, you must have the standing fee, and you must pay it. I'll be back next month, along with my friend here." And the dude with the axe just kind of grins, and they start to walk out.
As they do, Webkey or Kiki will write on her little tablet, pull it out, and she'll write on it, "Bye."
The Inquisitor kind of looks at you as he passes, but he doesn't really answer. The dude with the axe, as he passes you, Roa, deliberately bumps into you, just push you out the way, and you stumble a little bit.
Good try. I weigh about 450 pounds. Try pushing that shit over. He's probably going to bounce off me.
No, you do stumble a little bit, almost like someone of your own weight had pushed you. It's a little bit of a weird experience.
Man, I'm gonna have to kill him. Where I come from, that's an insult.
It is almost as though he knew that.
When they leave, I write on my tablet, I don't like them.
I'm going to snarl a little.
The guy with the axe, he turns and looks at you. Didn't like it. Do you want to start something? And he kind of grins at you. And his teeth are like broken. Some of them are half toothed, some are filed down. It looks like he's been punched in the mouth like 1,000,000 times.
I'm going to sniff the air in a slow and majestic way. And then say, "Not today, little elf. I am sure we will meet again."
He goes, fine. I'm sure we will. And he makes his way out. The Inquisitor already left.
Kiki raises the pad again that says bye.
Hey, Listy.
She looks over you, kind of smoothing her skirts down. Yes, Road.
You want me to kill that big one with the axe? I have no problem with beating him to death with his own liver.
Road, we don't mess with the Inquisition. You know this.
Yes, I do.
I appreciate the offer, though.
I don't mind beating them. I don't. It's something that I've wanted to do for a while.
And she walks back over to the bar and she sits on one of the stools. So, you made it back from the town in one piece. I'm glad of that, at least.
Takes the head out of the pouch, the statue head, and dumps it on the bar. We killed some skeletons and some walking dead, and I just completely killed a small elf child, but she was already dead. I was just making sure she was dead.
Kiki writes on her tablet, or her pad rather, I'm sorry, tablet. Tablet. Her pad, she writes on, how did you manage? For her. She managed this place by herself, probably.
Yeah. She looks at you. Oh, it's easy enough. I have stuff after all, like yourself and Road. But the story of how I got this place is a long one and a bit of a boring one, I imagine.
Yes, probably.
So she looks kind of like both of you and says, "So what happened?"
Well, I was talking, but unfortunately I had the wrong button pushed down. We went to the town, and we found a statue. And I went into one of the houses, and all of the bodies in the houses got up and started to hit me. So I tried to kill them, and then the roof fell in. I don't know how it happened. It just did. And then I went outside, and I was looking at the statue, and then someone, not mentioning any names, turns to look at the person who was yelling out Oriel's name last week, upset the spirits, and they came for us in much anger. There was 4 of them, and I bested them all in single combat.
Oh, most impressive.
Yes, it was. You should have seen it. It was amazing. I stabbed one with my spear. I stabbed another with my spear. I stabbed a third one with my spear, and then I gnommed off the head of the other one.
So while you're describing this to Listy, Sun goes to embrace the child after speaking to him. And as you kind of lean over the bar to give him an embrace, your arms go straight through the child. And your head goes through him, and he shimmers, almost like the kind of effect you get when you look down a very long road and it's really hot. He kind of blurs and shimmers a little bit.
Is he a spirit?
Celestia, you're a spirit.
He kind of looks confused at you, and He takes a step back towards the kitchen. He shakes his head and then goes to push the doors open to the kitchen, and the doors move, and he slips through into the kitchen area, out of sight.
So as I said, Listy, it was a great, great combat. I was the bestest bear in the whole world.
Well, this is one thing you're good at, is hitting people.
It is one of my top 6 skills. I obviously wasn't paying attention to Sun, so
Kiki kind of caught the glance of it, but she
I'm
didn't
too
get
busy
all as well.
regaling Listy with my epic battle of battleness.
As you go through the staff door, Son, Listy's gold eyes flick in your direction, and she calls out, staff only, no one goes behind there. Come back at once.
As he comes out, Kiki kind of walks by him, transfixed on the door. And the boy, she caught the tail end of that, but it kind of sings to her little enigma in her story of thinking maybe he's undead, maybe he's a ghost or spirit. Like, she actually thought that, but she didn't say it. Like, why them and not him? So she just transfixed, kind of walks by him to go back through. She almost bumps into him walking by him, so transfixed.
Son, your reassurances do work on the child. He kind of walks back towards the doors of the kind of like this little staff door, and he stands there, not looking quite so confused and scared, but he looks introspective about things.
She goes up to the boy. She writes on her pad of paper, "Are you all right?"
The boy nods to you. I'm okay.
She writes down,
Nobody tell the boy I ate his sister.
"Do you feel cold?"
He says, no, it's warm in here. It's the kitchen.
She pulls out what looks to be sort of a hand mirror and kind of hands it to him. See what he does with it.
He goes to grab it. And he takes the hand mirror. And he kind of looks at it. What did you want me to do?
She kind of gestures and points at it like, look at it, just trying to be friendly. She goes up right beside him to look in the mirror, see if he has a reflection.
Okay. Yeah, he looks at it. And when he looks into it, he just looks, doesn't seem to react. When you look into it, you can see what looks like... It looks like a child, but it's obviously partially transparent. The hair, where it's white, has a green tinge to it, and the eyes have like a green sort of witchy fire in them. But the child doesn't react, just looked in the mirror as though he's looking in the mirror, so you're unsure of what he sees.
She goes
Wait for
and...
the fireball to blow up and take out the building.
Is there any food around the, around me? Like any food on the table and stuff like that? She goes and she fixes a plate of something for him to be kind of motherly. After he's done with the mirror, she kind of takes it back, and tries to, here's some food.
The boy says, "Oh, I'm not hungry. I had breakfast, but thank you anyway. A nice mirror."
She pockets the mirror. She pockets the mirror, and then she nods to him, kind of kind of waves to him like she's leaving. And she
Okay.
walks back outside.
Okay, cool. The boy also sort of walks back outside, and he sort of chills next to Sun.
Celesta, you know what this means?
The boy shakes his head. What do you mean?
That means you can come with me on adventures, and you'll not be harmed.
I don't know. I should go home, really. It's been a long time since I've seen my parents.
They've gone to a better place, Alistair. Along with Moon.
Oh, they left me.
They've gone to the afterlife.
As this is going on, Kiki's not wasting any time. She goes over to Rhodes and she's like tapping on his shoulder. Tap, 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 tap in a very annoying way.
Rhodes kind of looks over and says, "Ah, little woman, what is the matter with you?"
She writes on her pad, and since the rope maker is next to her, also she writes on the pad and shows him too, and she shows them both, and she writes down, "The boy is not normal."
Rhodes kind of shrugs. Well, he is an elf. None of them are normal.
She shakes her head furiously, and then she points down at the pad again. She writes down, "Like the others in the town."
You mean he is one of those dead? He
Does-
doesn't look like it.
That child reeks of dead magic.
She puts perhaps a ghost or spirit in limbo.
So, Road, who is a shaman of the spirits, would actually be able to do something with this kid, or would be able to find out some information or something, but is taking his dog out. So, what should I do? What should I do? What should I do? He says, I might be able to do something or find something out, but we have traveled for a day. I was sick. I do not feel as good as I did. Perhaps we should stay the night, rest, gather ourselves. The boy is going nowhere. Is that not right, Listy? And Listy nods. Oh, the boy. And she kind of looks. She looks a bit coy.
The
Oh,
boy
I'm sure
may
he's going nowhere.
the boy may try to go home.
Oh, he can't go home, she says. And she starts to clean the bar top.
I'll help out with the bar. Kiki kind of helps out because maybe things, just to make sure everything didn't get too burdensome, even though she had other help and I'm replaceable. She kind of helps out a little bit, but as she does, and she quietly like maybe washes a table or clears a table off, she is pretty transfixed on the boy now, and she's looking for if this is some sort of undead or spirit, or there's something tied to him spiritually, like he could be alive and there might be something tied to him spiritually. She's trying to look for any type of like anchor he may have, like if there's like something on him, like a necklace or something that stands out. It doesn't have to glow at me or anything, but something that just seems out of the ordinary, or jeweled or something.
Well, you noticed, Yaslana, you noticed that the boy does indeed shimmer every once in a while, almost like he's not fully corporeal. And now you notice it, it's really obvious, almost as though you were being made not to notice it. Kind of makes you feel weird in your brain, in that way that you get most of the time when things make sense but don't make sense at the same time. Kiki, you watch the boy as well, and he kind of sits on a stool and watches what people are doing, and he has that general child look. He doesn't look as though he has anything on his person that's any different. Nothing particularly solid or glowing or weird.
He doesn't take notice to her wedding dress, does he?
Nope, he hasn't noticed the wedding dress.
I go and bring him. Oh, go ahead. Sorry.
Celestar, I've been meaning to ask you something.
Yes.
At your hometown, I found a key. It's a silver key about this big, and on one side of it there's a leaf symbol. Do you know anything about this key?
Oh, A leaf. Yes, that's Daddy's. His what is it called? Heraldry, crest, crest or heraldry. He has it on flags. That's his. It's probably his key.
Ah. Do you know what the key is for?
Um, he he said he has to always keep the key. He said it's very important that it's part of his job. It's his connection to the goddess.
Ah. And what is your daddy's job?
Oh, he does enforcement. He's like the Watch, only he hunts down evildoers, people that do things evil in secret. That's what he does. He protects people.
I see. Did it have access to a jail or anything like that?
He never said anything about being in a jail, but if he's catching people, then I imagine he would have to go into a jail sometimes to put them in there. But yeah, I don't know. He doesn't have his own jail or anything like that. That's probably the Watch would have their own little jail. But in this town, we don't really have a lot of prisoners, so we have maybe a few cells. But he's always had the key. He used to wear it all the time as well. I remember when he went to bathe in the lake, he would wear the key. He would never take the key off.
Ah. The lake with the statue.
Statue? No, the lake never had statues. It was just a little lake. Fish in it, though. Had good fish.
Mm. I see. Would you... Have you tried to leave the inn yet, Celesta?
No, I'm only a kid, and you hear things about kids getting taken away, so Miss Lifty said I could stay here, and she gave me a room, so I can stay here, and I want to stay here.
Ah, so you don't want to go home.
No, the world's scary out there. I like it here, and Listy says that she's family, so I don't mind staying with family.
Very good, Celesta. Thank you.
Since I've been kind of spying a little bit or watching over him, do I hear any of this? Like bits and pieces of this?
Yeah, you can totally hear it. You're not even that far away.
Okay, enough to know that he has a room. I'm gonna go check out his room.
Okay.
I'm gonna make like a tree and leave. And I'll go check out his room while this is going on.
Okay, you make your way through the bar, which is still very early, so there's barely anyone in here. You have a look at the rooms, and you can find one that's in occupancy. It's obviously the kids. When you go into the room looks as though, because the door was unlocked, thus meaning someone was there, but the room itself, the bed's still turned down. Nothing's been disturbed. There's no objects like possessions or anything like that. Are you going to search the room?
Yes, she will. She will lean over and in a very stiff manner and kind of like almost lay on the floor to look under the bed.
Awesome. As you have a look under the bed, you can see that there's something written or drawn under the bed. Looks like in chalk, in red chalk.
Can I do a spellcraft?
Yeah.
Hell yeah, I can. Bam, baby.
So you kind of peer at it, and you can see from the angle, it looks like a sanctuary. It's got the same markings as a sanctuary spell, except if it had a flavor, if all spells have flavors, this one has a little sprinkling of necromancy on it. It's the kind of spell you use to keep someone there.
She goes over to she like rolls herself on the floor and then looks under the other bed. If there's another bed there, I'm assuming it's this room.
Yeah, you have a look under the other bed. There's nothing. There's a bit of dust under there and a very small spider. But other than that, there's nothing else under there.
Her mind turns and she stares at the wall for a moment. Her mind thinks about perhaps the invert is a mage of some sort. This really like gets to her head. She realizes she's been in the room for a long time, and then she kind of turns to walk out.
Okay, you head on out.
Sorry, I'm back, guys.
It's all right.
Oh, update on Road's perspective. We found out the boy.
We found out the boy is actually a spirit, and I asked him about the key that I gave you, and he said that it belonged to his father, and his father was like law enforcement of some kind, and it's his father's family crest, that leaf on the key. And he said also that his father would go swimming in the lake that had good fish, and whenever he would go swimming in the lake, he would always bring the key. So that might mean there's a secret chest or something in the lake, or a secret chamber or something. You have to use the key to get in. So.
All right. Well, Rad, he's grumbling to himself. He's actually talking to Grohl, his spirit guide, and he's asking for more information regarding the boy and whether Grohl recognizes what's going on with him.
Okay.
That was my role for the my spirit law NWP.
Okay, so you call on Grohl, and and it's actually rather a good thing that there are no patrons in the bar at the moment, because there's a lot of weirdness happening, and this adds to the weirdness. Next to Road, on the bar stool next to him, a sweeping of air begins, and it begins to swell, and then snaps into the form of another bear. This bear's smaller than Road, looks very old. He's kind of stooped, he looks gnarled, and he looks incorporeal as well. The bear kind of looks over at Road, and in his native language is like, "What do you want, Road?"
We have a problem, Grohl.
We always have a problem.
Yes,
is
yes,
it
but
now?
this is about the Deceiver elf boy over there, and he points towards Kalesta.
The old bear kind of turns its head and looks at the elf. Ah, that boy's dead.
Yes, yes. I have been told that he is some form of spirit, but it is not something that I am familiar with. Which is why I have called upon you to drag you away from the ever-happy hunting grounds, where you will probably sit and bitch and moan about how much I drag you away from this happy hunting grounds, to discuss this boy.
You are not wrong. I was in the middle of a grand hunt in my youth. It was amazing.
Yes, yes, let's talk. More telling me about the boy.
Oh, why do I have to be bound to you?
Because
Oh.
I am your student and you were my mentor, and that is the way of our people.
Yes, that was a big mistake, wasn't it? I knew I should have chosen Rafareth.
But
He was an idiot, but at least he would have left me
that
alone.
is useless. He cannot even carve a decent fetish.
He kind of grins like you've had this argument a few times.
I imagine more than once.
Well, the child's a spirit, and he's tied to this world. He's tied to this world because his family were murdered, and I rather think he was murdered along with them. Probably his mother's last wish was to have him get help, under the guise of getting help, but just to escape. Obviously, he didn't make it. There's probably some kind of physical item that anchors him to this realm. You could find it and destroy it if you wanted, but he would then wander. Or you could conduct a ritual of release, and you could release the boy. Or you could just leave him here forevermore. It's up to you, really. Shamans, is one of your duties are the looking after of spirits, and you are.
Yes, yes, I understand that we look after the spirits of the land and the air and the creatures that walk on it. But he is a deceiver elf.
Yes. It is your choice, Road. It is your
Why did
path.
I always call upon you and you do not give me any decent advice? You do not say, yes, yes, Road, you must do this, or yeah, it's always, you must make the choice, young one.
Yes, this is tradition as well.
Ah, go away back to the happy hunting grounds.
Ah, good. And Road, make the right choice, you giant bumbling idiot. He kind of goes corporeal and then snaps out of into kind of like a puff of. It smells like a kind of earthy incense and then disappears.
Right, I know what to do.
Kiki has spent this time looking under various tables and around the bar for like any type of magical symbols anywhere. She's wondering if the owner is a practitioner of the dark arts.
You kind of have a scrabble around while he was conversing, and there's like spilled beer and there's like weird bubblegum under the seats and stuff. But other than that, there's no sort of arcane marks or weirdness that you notice.
Sweet. I'm trying to play this character like as a curious, and I'm like right behind the curve, which I like. I think she should stay right behind the curve constantly.
Yeah, that's cool.
One day she'll it'll all make sense to her. She'll get like a vision.
The old looking goblin looks at you, son. Hey, oh, hello. And he kind of goes back to his tankard and he's kind of drinking some kind of very sweet smelling liquid out of it.
Hello there, young sir. How are you doing? this
Young. Haven't been called young for ages. You already score points with me.
week? I seen you in here the other day, did I not?
Oh yes, yes. I'm here often. Ah yes. I don't really have much else to do, sadly. So I drink the fine ales of Listy over there. Hello, Listy. He kind of like lechers towards her and waves.
Waiting for you. Waiting for someone, are you?
Ah, not really. I find it unlikely anyone from my tribe will ever turn up. Alive, anyway. I've made enough gold in my time. I don't really need to go out adventuring or get eaten by things bigger than me or do any of those silly things that young people do. I'm happy to just sit in this bar with my tankard, and he like bangs it on the table, and just enjoy myself.
Were you an adventurer at one time?
Oh yes, yes. Oh yes. I wasn't like the other people in my tribe. I wasn't happy to just steal and rob. I wanted high adventure, the highest possible adventure, and I was adventuring. I did many things. I helped slay a beholder once. They were the good days. Yes, very good days.
Amazing. Are you a witch doctor?
Oh no, I don't have any magical talent at all. Not that, and he kind of looks around. Who would ever do magic? Oh, it's illegal. But if I was to, no, I was no good at that. Not from around here, you see. I'm from the continent up north where it's not so bloody cold. No, you see, I was good at picking locks and getting into places that I really shouldn't be in, which came in handy.
Very useful indeed. Have you any tricks of the trade to teach us?
Tricks of the trade? Wow. Interesting. I would say the best one is when picking a lock and you hear a click, duck. That's probably the best one I could tell you.
That's amazing. I'll be sure to tell my friend over there, Yellow Snow. He shares your
a fellow
interest.
Good. A fellow sneaking professional. Yes. Very good. I'm sure he'll do well. He has that small, sneaky look about him. Reminds me of the good days.
I shall be sure to introduce you to him one of these days. He's very quiet and shy lately.
Oh, that's just a trapping of young people, definitely.
So is it retirement then?
Yes, I made more than enough gold to keep myself happy, and I was never really a gambler. I learned from watching everyone else. When you make your gold, you don't gamble it again. I find that a sword to the guts ends your life quite neatly, so I'm enjoying my retirement.
Yes, of course. What do you have to say about the other elf gambler at the table over there?
Oh, Valen? Oh, he's okay. He loves to gamble. He's actually a minor noble, would you believe? He doesn't get on with his father, you see, and he decided the best way to stick it to Dad was to hang around in seedy places playing cards. Or playing that game where you have to stab your hand, and no, not stab your hand, miss your hand, but do it as fast as you can. Sometimes he plays a little bit of darts as well. He does it mostly for the fun. He doesn't need the money, certainly. He's all right if you get him a drink. Seems okay. For an elf, no offense.
None taken. Galen, was it?
Yes.
I thank you, young sir. This information has proven most useful. Most useful.
No problem. If you ever need any advice or a set of lockpicks or something like that, you can always hit me up. I'm happy to discuss things with you. You're one of the more pleasant people of your species.
Can I offer you a refill for your troubles?
Oh, certainly, yes. Some of that honey mead is really good. You should have some yourself.
Listy, how much for the honey mead?
She looks over the bar. 2 silver.
Here are 4. 2, please.
Oh. Nice stuff. She just kind of pops behind the bar, puts down 2 tankards.
As she does
she
that,
uncorks something.
as she's fixing that drink, Kiki will write on her pad, and she will slide the piece of paper over towards Listy, and it says, "Why are you keeping the boy here?"
As she's preparing the drink, she looks over at you and says, "He needs a home, and the world's a dangerous one, as I'm sure you know, so I thought it's only fair that we take him in. I do take people in after all, and I really couldn't let a little boy go out on his own, could I?" And she sort of starts to pour into the tankards.
She writes very calmly on the pad again, and it says, "And the ward under the bed."
Listy pulls the 2 drinks. She walks over to Sun and to the goblin, and she puts the drinks down in front of them. And then she starts to walk towards the doors to the inn without saying another word.
And my character follows her.
Okay. She gets to the indoors and she closes them. She pulls across the 2 little curtains and she closes the little locking latch on them and turns around.
She locks the door then?
Yeah.
Nice. Then Kiki, she shakes out her form, which is the last time she can do that. She's just gonna give up her, what people haven't seen Webkey, so most of the people have, well, half the people maybe near half. But she turns herself back into Webkey, and she calls out for Rhodes. She says, "Rhodes!" For the road man.
Who's currently in the basement?
No, I'm not. I'm preparing my ritual. I'm gonna role play it out a little bit.
Yeah.
Yes, Web. Yes, Web. What do you want?
Is he in the basement, or is he actually on this floor?
No, he's on this floor. He hasn't gone to the basement yet.
She kind of staggers across the floor here, run back over. Now she's a little scared of Listy. She points back towards the door at Listy.
What about Listy?
What does Listy do?
So
She's
Listy
closing the bar.
finishes locking the door, which is unusual. It's not closing time. It's nowhere near closing time. And she starts walking back, sort of down towards where Webb is. She's got her gold eyes on Webb. And as she passes Valen, she kind of glances at Valen. I'm going to say because Webb's really the one looking. Give me a perception.
Okay.
Yeah, I was also looking, but my eyesight's shit.
Smell when it's
But my hearing's pretty good.
Ah,
no, you don't know anything.
I'm looking at Rhodes then. She hops on the counter and perches on the counter. Looks at Rhodes and she's trying to convince him, like, look over at Listy. Like she's just transfixed with trying to convince him, like, look.
Turns to look towards Listy with a
Listy's
quizzical
walking.
look on his face.
She's walking back towards you, and the elf who plays the cards usually has got up and is standing at her side, walking back as they sort of close in on you.
They're gonna hurt me.
No, they won't, little Webb. I'll protect you.
She tries to hide behind him, poking her head on
Okay.
either side.
Now, Listy, what is this all about?
Listy, she stops in front of you, and she looks towards the rest of them. These others, they trustworthy?
No, they're not. The little elf man ran from combat. And I cannot speak for the other man, but he did make things go boom.
You're not going to hex us too, are you? Pokes her head around the bear. Kind of pops up.
The dude who usually plays cards, the noble guy who's annoying his father, you notice that on he's wearing, where his hands would be, he's kind of wearing claws. They're made of a kind of a silvery metal. They're obviously weapons of some kind. Listy looks to him and says, keep your eye on the others. I'm not sure that there'll be trouble, but let's make sure they're not. And he just kind of nods. She looks over at Webb and at Rhodes, and she says, Webb, you've been looking in people's rooms, haven't you?
What have I told you about going in people's rooms, Webb? That is bad. Bad,
He's a-
Webb.
He's a spirit.
Yes, I know he's a spirit. I'm in the middle of arranging a very complicated shamanic ritual that will return him to his people's happy hunting grounds.
Well, you might want to dispel the ward that's in his room first.
Don't know what about the wards. They'll have no effect on my ritual.
It blows right over his head. She's like, what? I'm trying to tell you something here. She
Listy
picks up-
plants her sort of hands on her hips.
She picks
And
up a
she's
tanker to defend herself just in case they come in any closer.
Webb, I'm not going to hurt you, dear. Now,
You'd better not, Listy. I may like you as a human, but Webb is my friend.
no one's hurting anyone, Rhodes. Come on now, you're always ready for a
Unless I'm
fight.
I always like hurting somebody.
This is true. She glances at the dude with the claws, and he's kind of shrugs like, She sighs. Well, Webb, you shouldn't have looked in that room, but you have, and now it's done. So, that's right. I put a ward down there to keep the little boy from leaving. I can't have a ghost walking around town. What would happen to him would be unfortunate at best, or he might even frighten someone. But I had to do something, didn't I?
Yes, very sensible precaution. Having spirits walking around is a very bad thing.
Naturally, though, the use of magic's illegal, which begs the obvious question as to how I know it.
No, it doesn't. It means you know it. It doesn't beg any questions. I have no idea what you're talking about, Listy.
She kind of rolls her eyes like, oh, God.
Webkey looks
No,
at him
it is
like,
very
"See,
simple, Listy. You know magic. Magic is illegal. I won't tell nobody. Because I also know magic, and magic is illegal. Therefore, I am able to do things with magic that I cannot do without magic. And
Shush.
The dude with the claw hand, he kind of like face palms, and his little fingers that are encased in metal make a little tinking noise, like tink tink tink. Tink. And Listy's like, ah, Road, you're too honest for your own good. That's a problem in this town.
I did tell you he wasn't the sharpest chisel in the toolbox. No one believes me.
She says,
No,
go ahead.
Listy, it's fine. I trust you. I trust Elfman. Well, maybe trust Elfman and these other people I don't know, but I can always kill them if they start telling secrets.
Webkey just like stares at Listy and she's like trying to figure her out.
Not
Enigma
Web,
is
no.
starting.
Web's lovely.
Listy sort of looks at Webb with her gold eyes, and she says, Webb, I'm not up to anything bad. You have to understand. You know what's going on in this town with the Inquisition. You know there's the Resistance, right? The rebels.
No.
Well, you're looking at them, dear.
You sent us on purpose.
Oh,
Yes.
you are the resistance?
That's right, Road.
Wow. I've heard of you. You are, what's the word? Stupid. No. Brave. Brave is the word I'm sorry, my comment is not good.
I believe you, Road, she says. Kind of raises an eyebrow. I'll be honest with you, chaps. Yeah, I sent you to that town on purpose. You had to clear
Why?
out one of the Inquisition's messes, and I wanted to see if you'd make it or not.
You
Well,
didn't-
I killed the statue.
You didn't even warn us.
No, dear. I had to know if you'd survive or not.
I don't think he was going to warn us, Web. It's fine.
It's not fine.
It is because the Road went with you, and the Road is strong.
She walks around the side of the road because the Road is like
Road's pretty good.
very difficult, even more difficult than her. She kind of perches on the bar and she looks over at her. You lied to us.
That's right, Webb. I did, dear. And I apologize for that, really, I did. But I had to know. I had to know that you guys could work together and you could survive. So I had to give you the front of an adventurers guild, to which you signed up, which was all very well and good. And in all honesty, that town needed clearing out. People have been going missing who tried to resettle there. We needed a group who could handle that, and I certainly couldn't do it. I'd draw too much attention. Not only that, but I need to recruit people. I need to recruit people for the cause. And I could tell when I looked at you, and her eyes kind of gleam in that strange golden way,
Which
that there was something special about you guys. But I had to be sure. I had to know.
she like offers her arms out to show her the dress. She says, but I'm cursed.
Listy raises an eyebrow and looks at it.
The wedding
Mm.
dress. She looks down. Did you know about the wedding dress too?
She shakes her head. I didn't. Ah, it is certainly a cursed item. Her eyes rove along the dress. And you know, as a partial owl, how using one's eyesight in the most efficient way possible, that she's doing the same thing. Yes, it's definitely cursed. She won't be able to take that off, dear.
Why would she want to take it off? It's a very pretty dress.
Her head turns 180 degrees and looks at him. Looks back at Listy.
But no, in answer, I didn't know anything about cursed wedding dresses. Most peculiar, though. I've been here a long time. I've never seen anything like that.
She picks up her pad. She writes on the pad and she shows her what's on the pad. And it says, "Are you a witch?"
No, I'm not a witch, dear.
She spells out the word necromancer and she spells it correctly.
No, dear. I'm not a necromancer. Generally speaking, they're fairly foul, apart from the ones who used to be used for their medical aid, though the Inquisition snuffed them out.
And it was such a shame.
You're sniffing Listy.
Yes.
Wisdom, please.
Wisdom?
Mhm.
Yep, under my wisdom score.
Your intuition.
Okay.
She.
Oh, actually, it might not.
What's your wisdom?
I'm just checking. Oh, just under my wisdom score.
Ah.
I got
She,
wisdom 11.
She smells like a human, but her smell, something's off about it. It's not quite right. It's like she's trying to hide something. You get that feel from it. Something about your instinct tells you that she's not all that she appears
There
to
is
be.
something unusual about you, Listy, today.
Listy kind of ignores the comment. She looks round at Yeslana and says, "Where to acquire magic? Yes, on the black market. I have connections."
And you can help me with this. She looks down at the dress.
Ah, Webb. Yes, I'm sure I could help you with that.
Okay, we can be friends. She sits down off of the.
Listy smiles and it looks genuine. I'm glad. I know that you're angry and I understand why, but I had to do what I had to do.
Listy,
And yes,
are you half elven?
she smiles. There's a kind of an amused little kink to her smile. And she says, "No, there's no elven blood in me, dear."
She's kin. You're fake kin.
She offers Webb a little smile and winks. The fact of the matter is, when I saw you enter, how shall I put this? You guys aren't very subtle. Especially you, sir. Looks at Yaslana. You reek of magic, my friend. The Inquisition will have you in a week if you're not careful. However, people with your skills are rare, especially now that they've been cracked down on. I could use people like you, and so could the cause. Well, I could give you access to the contacts if you were to maybe join my cause, help out a little bit.
Wait. What do you mean I reek of magic? That wasn't me. That was the halfling sleeping in that room.
And the gold you owe us?
The gold, she tuts. The gold I really had. Unfortunately, that Inquisitor took it with the rest. They gained access to my finances, shall we say, or rather the one with the axe did, and then decided I had rather more than I should do. They thought I was operating some kind of gambling niche down here, so I'm afraid I don't have the gold. I do know...
We bargain for your debt.
You could if you wanted to. What were you thinking?
I could kill him.
No one needs to kill him, Road.
But he had a big axe and it looked very pretty.
Road, one doesn't face an Inquisitor lightly.
Yes, one does. I have killed dozens of Inquisitors.
Listy kind of, she starts and she laughs openly.
But when I say me, I mean Grohl killed hundreds of Inquisitors. He will show me how to do it.
She writes in a pad of paper. She hands it to her. It's very personal. She hands it to her.
Okay.
It says, "You will trade me magic for what you owe me."
Little Webb, if you help me, if you join the cause, I'll give you access to magic. I have connections in the underground.
She locks eyes with her yellow eyes with your gold eyes. She looks like she peers into your soul. She stares straight. Her head bobs once. There's a very quiet moment that Webke takes. Like she's deciding, calculating something in her head.
Okay.
Okay. She just says very, very calmly. But like not, she tries to do it. She doesn't do it with like, she's excited, like, oh, okay. She's just kind of like, okay. Like she didn't want to give any emotions away when she said that. But she agrees to it.
Okay.
Magic movie moment, guys. At some point, I'm gonna stab this witch when her true form is revealed. As the villain. Can't prove it yet, but she has those eyes.
And she looks over at Yaslana. That's about the up and down of it. Although I was honestly going to pay you. Money doesn't mean that much to me. She kind of looks thoughtful. Well, I suppose if you're interested in spells and the casting of, are you looking for any spells in particular? Perhaps I could assist.
She writes down on a piece of paper. Gate, dimension door, teleport.
Ooh, interesting roll.
That Yeslana says that stuff, right? That stuff that she actually says that we.
Yeah.
Yes,
Okay, I
just
just make it-
just at times I can't use voice.
Sure, I just want to make sure it's not like a telepathic thing. Okay.
She Listy says she can arrange a meet with a magical dealer. This dealer can teach the semantic words, gestures of spells. She says that this person she can arrange the meet for would be in a day's time, so you could stay the night. Mechanically speaking, you all got to level 2, so it means that you'll have access to your second levels of your respective magical schools. Welcome back, son.
Was that about the second level of magic schools?
Where you leveled up to level 2, normally getting spells is almost impossible because it's illegal. But Listy's willing to go on the black market, so to speak, use her contacts and have someone of magical persuasion who can teach you your spells for your second level.
Oh.
As I walk past the little elven boy, I say, "Come with me, elf child. We must have a nice long talk, you and I."
The boy goes with you. He's a trusting sort.
We'll take him down to the basement.
Okay.
I'm just going to be posting some blurbs up here where you guys talk, so you can just my role play's going on beneath in the basement, on the stairs, downstairs. But I want to write it out so you all see what's going on downstairs.
That's cool. I will be rolling the dices. The dices, the die. So Listy negotiates a meet with this arcane trader, we will call them. This person will teach you spells of your second level. And as it's set in gold system, you know the spells that you do the rolls for learning spells, which is fine. Obviously, you don't have to study them like for the day, so you have access to all spells that you know. And you can pick from level 2. You can pick from any of the splat books you like for those spells, because some are more interesting than others.
How many spells are we talking? Yeah, I'm in on that, right?
Yeah,
Yeah, how many spells are we talking?
it is. See if I can find the progression doodad.
What, the spell progression table?
Yeah.
It's 21 in the player's handbook, table 21.
Thank you.
Of course, if you got a book, it's an actual book. I can't tell you what page it's on. I just know it's table 21.
So you could pick another 2 spells plus your intelligence modifier at first level of casting at level 2, and you can learn those.
Okay,
They can be anything you like from any of the books.
do they have to be level 2 spells, or can they be the more level 1 spells?
At level 2, you still cast level 1 spells. It's when you get to level 3 that you start casting level 2 spells.
Right. Dumb question on my part. Sorry. I
It
know how to play 2nd edition, guys. I do. I swear. I've been playing for 28 years.
is one of those
Yeah.
weird things, though. I always have to look at the table and was like, what am I doing now?
The way gold system works is, because that's the one Lex is using, is whenever you gain a level, like from first level to second level, you would get 1 additional first level spell, plus the modifier that you would get if your intelligence were wisdom.
Intelligence for wisdom. So let's see. My modifier would be.
So that's not just spell slots, that's the spells you get.
That spell's known.
So what would my bonus be? If it's based off of the intel, right? Not wisdom.
Yeah. So what's your intelligence?
19.
Wow, you're smart as a whip.
Hey, she's been seeing the whole adventure before it happens, but just hasn't been able to do anything about it. She's a little bit behind the curve.
If I remember right, Lex, wasn't he using the magical defense adjustment as the number of extra spells?
That truck sounds like shit. He's got like 2 cylinders that aren't firing.
Oh, so it's a wisdom then.
Yeah, with a wisdom, your intelligence is 19, so a wisdom of 19 would give you +4 additional spells, plus the 1 that you would gain a casting slot for, so you'd get 5 additional first level spells.
And then 1 additional casting slot.
Yes.
And you don't have to pre-memorize your spells. There's nothing worse than learning 2 spells and then them being useless for an entire day. You're like, well, looks like I'm hitting people with my staff again.
So I got like what, I have 3 spells a day? Or wait, 4 spells? No, 3 days. 3 spells a day. Let's see.
Are you a specialist wizard?
No.
Then you would have the 2 slots for being a wizard at level 2, plus the bonus spells you would get if your intelligence were wisdom. I think that's 2 additional first level spells a day.
Yeah.
Or is it 3 for 19? Okay, so your total casting for per day is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 first level spells. Because you get 3 bonus for a 19 wisdom. Since your intelligence is 19, you would get 3 additional first level spells. I'm lucky being a specialist. I get 1 more casting per day.
Per spell level.
Yeah.
There's almost no reason to not specialize, unless you want access to like the ones you can't specialize in, of course.
Yeah, that would be the only reason to not specialize, is to have access to every school.
So I get 5 new ones, right? Is that what it would be?
Yes, you would
Yeah.
get 5 new spells and one extra casting per day.
Okay. Yeah. Detect magic, read magic, knock, and I'll think of the other 2.
You should already have detect magic and read magic. Those are things that wizards basically have in Gold's rules.
It's cool. I took a storyline that she had some memory loss and some things,
Gotcha.
so it's all good.
Yeah, kind of like me with my story that, I hooked up with bad elements to learn my spells, and they had a very limited selection, so I kind of crippled myself at first level.
Okay, so your ritual works, Road. It works very well, in fact. The family who you fought as dead appear, though they don't recognize you as an enemy. In fact, they don't recognize you at all. There's an elven woman who must be the mother. There's what looks like a member of the Inquisition who has that same Inquisitional outfit and has the leaf emblem around his neck. There's a key on a chain. There's a little girl, and the boy laughs and he runs to his family. They all embrace, and your ritual works. You send them off to the plane in which they're aligned to.
Did you like it?
I did. The rolls were good, so it went without a hitch. Your spirit companion, Groll, was impressed. His reactions to you will be more positive.
To be fair, he's never been very positive to me.
The goblin looks over you, son, and says, don't worry about that. Here, have some of this. And he takes out a little, it looks like a hip flask, and he puts it on the table. Have a swig of the good stuff.
Am I Lex, can you look in the Tome of Magic under the Wild Mages? I don't know if I'm seeing this correctly, but I don't see any restrictions to schools for Wild Mages.
Let me have a wee look.
I mean, it says, they're by no means specialist wizards in the traditional sense. They do not study within the confines of schools. They research into new theories in all fields.
Yeah, they don't have a restriction.
That is crazy.
What?
So they're a specialist in the respect that they can cast an extra spell per day as long as it's from wild magic, but they have
Yes.
absolutely no restrictions other than the extra chance to not learn a spell.
And blow
Yeah.
themselves up.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Because they don't believe, they don't even recognize that there are schools of magic. It's all just they make their own connections. Maybe it's from the universe, maybe it's from themselves, maybe it's the voices, you know.
I honestly didn't even realize that until we were talking about specialization and not specialization just now.
Well, your
Don't-
characterization worked perfect because I was like, "What's abjuration, alteration?" You're like, "I don't know those terms." I was like, "Oh, okay."
To be totally honest, he was just kind of playing it off. I didn't even realize that that was actually a thing for them.
I was like, "This guy's in the role-playing groove, man."
Yeah, he was just totally playing it off as in, I don't know what you're talking about. I'm not a mage. What do you mean?
Don't they have like a 5% chance penalty to learn non-wild magic spells?
Yeah, they get a penalty when they learn other spells, and then they get a bonus when they learn new wild magic spells.
Yeah.
Do
But
they have a
it's really
chance in this?
minor.
Oh, sorry.
Now go ahead.
Do they have a chance in this game, in your guys' game, wild mages to do spells that are higher level than themselves?
Yes, every time I cast a spell, I have to roll the d20 for the level variant, but Lex has a different determination as to whether it's a surge or not, because I didn't think that a 1 in 20 chance was fair. It's wild magic for a reason.
See, my character will teach you try to teach you structured magic, and then you'll get her home sooner than she'll be capable of doing.
It's like that fireball that I cast. I was kind of glad that it didn't roll high, because then, I'd ended up casting a 3d6 fireball instead of a 1d6, and we'd all been dead. But yeah, he's got his own way to determine whether it's a surge or not. And I told him I don't want to know what his percentages are. He just tells me if there's a surge or not.
This is true. RNGesus.
I always thought 5% was fair, but I'm guessing he just doubled it to 10%. I mean, that's what I'd do if a player asked me to.
I don't know, just that 5% chance. It doesn't come up often enough. I wanted I personally wanted the variation. That was why I wanted to play a wild mage.
Right, since he's standing in the center of the storm and he's not the one that gets hurt.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, there's a lot that can happen to me.
That can hurt him, yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, there's nothing like, casting a sleep spell or a magic missile spell on somebody, and then the surge comes up where you fall madly in love with them until a remove curse is put on you.
Yeah. Or you grow feathers or leaves or
Or,
bones.
bubbles come out of your mouth, and yeah, you can't cast spells anymore because you're talking in bubbles.
Yeah.
And by the way, what does that tell us about Thanos that reality changes things into bubbles? Made me think of that right now.
I'm almost scared for the caster levitates 20 feet for 1d4 turns, because yeah, I can go up pretty damn easy, but what happens when it ends and I fall?
You come down easy as well. Only a bit fast.
Better damn sure hope that featherfall spell works.
Okay, so you guys are visited by this shady guy who doesn't charge you this time, and you can learn your spells. Road performs his shamanic ritual and resolves the ghost. Listy kind of nods to you, and she goes back to the doors once this is done and starts to open up the inn. The guy with the clawed hand goes back to his table, spreads his cards out, and patrons begin walking into the inn. People of all races and all types. The place starts filling up. A few people are like, "Oh, Listy, why are you opening so late?" And she kind of shrugs and says, "Oh, you know, the cask got stuck." Or she tells someone a barrel fell over, or there was a small fire. Nothing to worry about. Come, drink, eat, have fun, and the place fills up, and you get the hubbub of everyone talking and going about their business. It's up to you guys. Are you going to stay up all night? Are you going to go to bed? What would you like to do?
Islana
Well,
will be in
Road
his room.
himself is technically employed by the tavern, so he is going to do his duty and stand at the door. But he is tired, and you can tell he's tired because he's moving quite slowly. But he is leaning on his spear as well, and just watching the crowd with a look of just complete and utter exhaustion on his face.
Okay.
Webkey is not going to return to her old job. She feels that there's a new bargain established. She has to keep her word as a fae. Live up to that.
Sorry, what was that word?
She thinks that there's a new bargain set, so she's like, I'm no longer a waitress. To heck with that. Although I'm sure at times she'll probably end up helping, but she wants to establish that right off the bat. So she goes and she kind of sits or stands around the vicinity of Road.
A couple of hours into the night, Road falls asleep standing up, and he kind of snoozes against the door jamb.
She looks over at him. Great, I was waiting to talk to you and you fell asleep. Next time I won't wait.
The night proceeds pretty normally. Patrons come and go. After a while, Listy kind of boots Road in the shin and wakes him up and tells him to go to bed. And you head off to bed because you're tired. The night passes. You all go about your businesses, be it learning your new spells, doing whatever it is you people do for fun. And knowing the crazy people you are, I probably don't want to know what that is. The sun rises. You each wake up in your rooms, and you're woken to the smell of frying eggs, of meat being cooked, the smell of coffee wafting up through into the rooms. It's almost as though whoever designed this inn managed to set the venting up to where the kitchen vented its partially into the rooms. Must be a business choice of some kind. And you all awaken quite nicely rested, but pleasantly hungry.
That one will come in handy when we're broke or out in the wild with no food.
Road comes up to the kitchen and starts helping himself to a rather large portion of cooked meat, eggs. It's a veritable mountain of food because obviously he's a bear man. He eats quite a lot. There's like a dozen sausages. There's like basically half a pig just slathered on the side. It's bacon.
You could like put that on one of those big banquet servicing.
Yeah, that's what I mean. That's one of his big trays. That's his plate. And he basically just fills it up. There's about a dozen eggs. There's some black pudding. There's just a whole bunch of food, and then he goes and sort of crouches over a table and starts to eat in the main hall.
English breakfast.
I imagine the chairs wouldn't hold my weight, so I'm sort of like sitting on my haunches and eating.
Well, it's a multicultural inn. There are chairs for those of larger ilks, so you can take one of those. You sit. You're enjoying breakfast. It's a good breakfast. It's well cooked as it always is. And it's quite satisfying.
And I assume it's free because I work here.
Listy doesn't stop you at all. She seemed generally apologetic that she owes you this gold. She was truly going to pay you it, so she doesn't stop you. She's like, fine, you can eat as you will.
Do not worry about the gold. Gold is nothing. I can see, Listy, that you are struggling with it. Do not worry about it. Gold is only a momentary thing. You have it, then you don't. We have done a good thing by sending that child back to the afterlife. That is payment enough for Road.
She's like cleaning a mug and she nods. That's certainly true. It was a good thing to send him off with his family. You seem to be good at fixing problems, my friend.
I am very good at fixing problems. A broken door, I will fix it. A broken chair, I will fix it. A wandering ghost around your bar, I will fix it.
Of course.
How are you at say?
Of course, Road. Now we've got the mystery of the silver key. How do we fix that?
What silver key?
Exactly.
He taps his nose with the rather large fingers that say, I know when to keep the secret.
Mum's the word, eh?
No, my mum's not a word.
Exactly.
My mum is my mum. So where is little Webb gone? Where is Webb? Where are you, Webb? Wakey, wakey, Webb.
She's literally on the other side of the tavern.
I can't see that far. I'm blind as a bat. Well, I'm not blind as a bear.
Which is why she's sitting over there.
Those are some good rolls. Listy, she walks from behind the bar. She approaches you, son. She leans across the bar as she's cleaning one of her mugs, and she says, well, you were good at clearing out a curse. How are you at rescuing people?
Hello?
She'll tell him that she's gonna go into town look for a fur coat
Okay.
for travel. So she takes off.
Wait, Webb. I come with you. You're not safe on your own.
Her
He
head
gets
turn-
up and lumbers after her.
Okay, her
Okay.
head. She does a 360-degree thing and kind of walks out.
Okay, you head out to town.
It's cool. I don't need to roleplay into that unless Road wants to talk. But she's basically just gonna get a coat to keep herself warm because she knows that adventure is
Yeah,
coming,
no problem.
and that she might need to leave this town.
Gargamins, your mic alright? I saw you light up, I didn't hear you.
Sorry, I'm muted talking with my girlfriend.
Ah,
Our-
that's
Our
alright.
neighbor's truck. He's kind of gassing us out with the smell of gasoline.
Oh,
He
that
has.
sucks.
It's this old Chevy, and it has 1 or 2 cylinders that don't fire, so it's just shooting gas fumes all over the neighborhood.
Ugh.
And I need to call somebody. I'll
You
be
could
right
like
back.
throw a match and run, I guess.
Yeah. I'll be right back.
Okay, so you two head out into town, and the place is bustling. There's people moving to and fro. There's the occasional preachers to the high goddess Auril, and they're saying their morning prayers and leading others, ringing bells. You make your way into the trade district, and there's a garment seller there. You push open the door and a little bell rings, and behind the counter is a little old gnome, and he has his hair's kind of gelled into a spike, and he's got little silver rimmed glasses, and he looks at you as you enter. Welcome, fine young lady and towering strong man. What can I do for you today?
I am not a man. I am Ursius Major.
Oh, are you female? I apologize.
No, I'm a bear
back.
man.
Oh, okay. Mr. Ursus then.
You would know if I was a female because I would have bear boobs.
This is he kind of like adjusts his specs.
But you do
Yeah.
have bare boobs.
Be quiet, little web.
Fur
He-
coat. I need a traveling fur coat, mink, or perhaps fox.
You don't want mink. Mink is bad for cold weather. What you need is a nice, thick seal skin.
Perhaps I need a bear coat.
That is evil talk, web.
She smiles.
Yeah, the guy grins and he says, yeah, I'm pretty sure.
Road-
yes.
Road knows best. Whatever Road says.
Well, I certainly do have fur cloaks. I have fox. I have wolf. Seal skin. Huh. Seal skin.
It
I
has
have
to be
skills.
one of them northern seals with the very thick fur.
Oh,
And you need to
the
leave a nice
fur
thick
one.
layer of blubber on the inside.
Oh well, I don't have any of those in. Although, if you went to the docks to the fishing people, I'm sure they'd be able to furnish you with the hide that you needed. I
Oh
could
no,
certainly
no, it
fashion
would
it
take
on there.
too long to tan it myself. Out of the numbers you said fox and
Yes.
wolf.
I have
I would
wolf. I
recommend
have
the fox.
Yes, I have one here. Young lady or of a small stature. I have one. I'll be with you in just a moment. He pops behind his little his desk into his back room.
Nudges web key and goes, "See, I told you I would get you a good coat."
I like your bare boobs.
You can't trust Herman. You can't trust mink. You can't. Mink is a very nasty creature. You can't trust mink.
It's pretty though.
It might be pretty, but it might also chew your face off.
Fox is pretty too.
Foxes are lovely. You can hug them and you can squeeze them until they stop struggling.
It's not a real fox.
Yes, real fox. We used to play it back in the home tribe. We used to play Snuggle the Fox, and if the fox lived for more than 5 minutes, it would be allowed to release back into the wild.
And the
It was a
bears
very
played
fun
that
game.
together. They played
They-
Snuggle the Fox together.
No, it's. Have you ever heard of the game, the human game called the Greasy Pig? What you do is you get the fox, and you cover it in seal blubber. And
I don't
seal
know if
fat,
I really
so
want to
it's
know
really
this.
slippy.
Road.
And then 10 of you, or maybe 12 if you can't count proper like me, you chase after it, and then when you get it, you try and hold on as tight as you can, while the rest of the people try to get the squeaky fox off you. And if the squeaky fox lives for 5 minutes, it gets released back into the wild with a free meal of seal blubber.
She just stares at him, trying to soak in all of this knowledge. What does it all mean?
So, if you wish, I could tell you all about how we go seal clubbing. We use real seals as clubs, and we beat each other with them.
And do female bears beat you too?
No, not after my mum hit me with the mammoth tusk. It wasn't allowed.
So this is just a game for
It is a
male
game
bears.
the children play. You know, the small bears, the small bear men, and the small bear ladies. They like to play these games. Makes them
Together.
strong like bear.
She looks to see where the merchant is gone. She's like,
He after a few minutes of this frankly horrifying exchange, He comes back out. The gnome comes
Horrified.
out, and he's got in his arms. I have two here, young lady. Come over and have a look. He spreads them out on his fittings desk. One of them is of a classic Arctic fox. It's very well made. It's of a kind of a white pelt, and at the ends of each of the sort of the hairs have silvery tips, which is rather nice. The other one is a bit more unusual. It's kind of a ruddy red with a single white looking stripe that goes down the back. Both of these kind of fur cloaks, they'd be from your shoulders to your feet, and they have hoods. The hoods are basically the skinned heads of the foxes. It's like having a little fox hood. And he says, either of these would fit you finely. I could tailor them too if you wished.
Could you cut the hood off to be a hat?
I could, yes. I could definitely make this into a hat for you, young lady.
She turns her head completely around and looks at the bear. It would be better as a hat than a hood. Then I could turn and look behind me.
See, what you need is a hat. Is the severed head of a walrus.
Yeah, I'm sure that's fine. Nice, Road.
I can go down the dock and get you one.
It's okay, Road. I'll take the white one.
You have no adventure in your life, do you, Webb?
I just want to get home, Road. I'm a long ways from home.
Your home is in the tavern with Road and Listy and all the others.
If I want to eventually... She looks over at the merchant. Is he standing near her?
He's kind of looking. He's sort of measuring the hood bit to make it into a hat.
She shuts her mouth then for a second. She turns back to him.
Don't worry, Webb. I keep your secrets.
So, young lady, would you like the red one, or would you like the white silver one?
I already told you. I already told him. She looks over.
I am sorry. I can't have been paying much attention at that stage. Remind an old man.
Oh, the white one. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to make fun of your age.
No, it's fine. You're young, and he sort of looks at you and adjusts his specs. Oh, congratulations as well. Oh, wonderful.
You haven't said a
give
date
me-
yet, she says.
Oh, it's joyous though. What amazing. Give me about 5 minutes, and I'll make the alterations. He takes out a needle and threads and some scissors, and he starts getting to work on it.
Sweet. She smiles at the fact that he noticed the dress, and she's like, we haven't set a date yet.
Did I just think he said congratulations, Webb? Well, what?
Well, I'm going to be a bride, she says. She shows him the dress.
Oh, and who is the lucky little man, Webb, you will marry?
Well, so far, you're the one who's hanging around me the most.
I cannot marry you, Webb. I am already married. I have six wives and 23 children.
Not even if it breaks the curse.
Especially if it breaks the curse, because that dress is very pretty on you.
I try wearing it every day, 24 hours.
I
a
doubt
day.
it would fit me, little Webb. But if it did, I would look very good in it.
Now, is this like a special? Okay, I don't mean to get kind of weird here.
Yeah, go for it.
Okay, but D&D had one of these items called, I think they're like,
Girdle of sex changing.
no, panties of like virginity or something. So like when you went to the restroom, like you could only take them off with like a magic word, right? But like when you went to the restroom, like it just like took care of it, just disappeared into some, I don't know, ethereal plane somewhere or whatever, right? So I can't take this dress off. So if she has to, well, she doesn't have to worry about that. She's an elf. Oh, I got it. Okay, I'm cool now.
Plus it's a dress. All you have to do is lift it
Yes,
up and you can go poop.
I don't know if I can take it off or not. So.
I don't
No,
think it involves underwear.
The dress will not be removed. You can't take it off. When you have a bath, when you get into the bath, it is like bathing in a wet dress, but as soon as you get out of the bath, the dress is dry again.
Okay, cool. I just wanted to see if there was any like special features, like, you know.
So far, you haven't noticed any other than you can't remove it. And if it becomes wet, say like you're being rained on or snowed on, for instance. So when you first went in the tavern, you noticed that when the snow melted on your shoulders, it was wet for a few moments and then just wasn't. It dried off again.
Okay. All right. Good. I gotta. Okay. Thank you.
The guy finishes making the fox fur hat and the fox fur coat. He folds it up nicely and he looks at you and says, for you, young lady, 2 silver will suffice for the 2. How does that sound?
She pays him. Silver for
Cool.
fur is awesome.
He
That's-
smiles. And congratulations on your happy day. I hope you have a most excellent wedding.
He
You
doesn't
have to
want to.
find a man yet. Are you available?
He
You are
laughs.
about the
He's
same
like
size.
he laughs and he says, "You're a funny guy. I can see why she picked you."
She didn't. I can assure you. I already have 6 wives.
He doesn't want to marry me, even if I was cursed.
Even if
Oh.
she was cursed.
Oh, I'm sure that he's joking with you, dear.
No, I'm not.
I don't think there's anyone that would turn you down.
Oh, yes, I would. Because she's not my people.
It would seem that I'm rather prepared for the future. She nods to
Yes,
the guy.
we will find you a nice husband. Maybe that sun elf guy.
If she
He
could roll her
seems nice.
eyes, she would. Her head bobs up and down.
The guy puts them in a nice little it's like a kind of a Hessian like bag, and it's got like a little stamp of it says Tinkerman's Clothing Emporium on it, and he grins and says, you know how it is, young lady. Sometimes men are a bit backwards. Sometimes you have to ask them to marry you first. But I'm sure you'll find someone. Yeah, definitely.
Can you
So,
do?
Mr. Tiny Man, I have a very important question to ask you.
What can I do for you?
If I am out and I am exploring the vast wastenesses and I come across furry animals that I can bring to you, will you pay me for the hides?
Certainly, I can always use furs and hides, my friend.
What if I bring you with them still kicking and screaming and alive? Would that be okay too?
No. I just do the stitching. If you could remove the hides for me or have them removed, I'll certainly buy the hides from you.
I will see what I can do.
Do you
Come
have?
on, little web. We must go back home.
But I need snowshoes. She looks at him. Do you have
Okay, then
something?
snowshoe shopping we go. Let's go.
Do you have snowshoes for these? And she kind of shows her like taloned feet.
Oh, most unusual. No, but I could alter. Yes, I could certainly alter some shoes for you. It would just mean enlarging the heel in certain places, taking into account those very proud talon feet that you have. Most impressive. I could certainly sort you out with some shoes. That's no problem at all.
She gives him some tips and stuff as if she's had shoes like this made before,
All right.
and
It-
she'll come back from when they're finished.
Yeah, that's super useful. He says they'll be ready for in about an hour.
Gives
It
her-
must be time for 11sies, Web. Let's go have some 11sies.
Yes. I feel like a regular Cinderella.
You look like what's a Cinderella?
It's a woman that got her head crushed in a cabinet.
No, your head does not look crushed.
Okay, you guys can head back to the tavern.
I am sitting here giggling to myself this entire conversation, just letting you know.
So Listy's kind of she's looking at Rock Son, and she says about that. You cleared out the town very well. I might have another job for you guys if you're interested. I have a problem that needs solving.
Will we get paid with real gold or fake no gold?
He smiles. Just thinking the same thing. Is he going to be a real job with real money?
She says, I don't have access to my funds at the moment, but would say by the time you return, I will do. I can certainly
Who has
remunerate
your
you.
funds, Listy? I go beat them up and get them from you.
Oh, don't worry about that. No, don't draw attention. Let me handle that. But
You look
yes,
slightly crestfallen. It's like everyone's turning away and saying, "Don't beat up stuff." It's very upsetting for him.
Though, Road, the task I have is a very dangerous one, and no doubt there would be a degree of killing involved.
I'm not afraid. I'm never afraid. Except that one time when Mother hit me with a mammoth tusk.
Well, that shouldn't be a problem. There'll definitely be resistance. There are some ruins. A fair march to the west here, occupied by, I don't know if you know of them, a group of people that like to indulge in the consuming of their own and other people, shall we say. One of
Deceivers.
our... No, not Prunay, not Prunay. These people they've captured someone important to me, someone very important to me. I lack the ability to go and get them, to be honest. I need you to rescue this person.
Or are you afraid to because they're lycanthropes?
I just don't have the skill set, my dear. I'm good at a few things, but I'm not really much for one in a punch up. And these people are extremely dangerous. They do eat each other. Also, she says, yeah, it would require a group, a small task force, if you like, to deal with. I don't think anyone could handle this on their own.
I could, but I will take them with me.
Do these lycanthropes carry the disease?
Not all of them. Most of their group actually aren't fully able to change and aren't affected by that. Their leader is a full lycanthrope with all the trimmings that comes with. The rest of them, because they fight each other for food, are generally quite weak, I would say, but they are highly vicious. She kind of reaches into her top and she pulls out a dagger, and the dagger has a very bright gleaming blade on it. She says, as you know, or may not know, depends how worldly sort of traveled you are, lycanthropes are troublesome to kill, shall we say? This, however, should you get one weak enough, would do the job. That is in case you came across any, but ideally what I'd like you to do is enter their lands and rescue my friend.
She takes the dagger from her. I require wolfsbane.
Listy looks thoughtful.
She blinks and she looks at her.
I don't think I have any. Let me have a look out the back just in case. I'll be back in a moment. She sweeps around the bar and goes back through the staff only bit.
When she goes back, she looks at Road and she says, I don't know if we can entirely trust her.
Of course we can. It is Listy. Listy has always been good to us.
After a few minutes pass,
she's not the prettiest woman in the world, but hey, who is?
Oh, that's harsh.
Right?
She
looks at him like, she's not pretty? Like, maybe he's actually a little jealous of her.
I think maybe that she doesn't have fur in places that perhaps Road would find appreciative, and lacks claws and
doesn't have bare
feet.
Let's put it that way.
Yes, indeed. I was being tactful.
I'm back.
So, welcome back. Listy walks back around and she says, I'm sorry, Little Web, I don't have any wolfsbane. Although I think you should be okay. You people seem to be able to handle yourselves. Just remember, should you face the one that leads them, the dagger will be essential. Ideally, I would say don't face them. If you could just get in and bring me back Eric, I would be very
So
appreciative.
we walk in backwards. It's easy to do.
Your rebellion, does it
Wait.
have clerics and other fighters in it?
She smiles and nods. There are people from all walks, but generally those that indulge in the magical arts join the rebellion purely because they're being persecuted, or those that have had family or friends murdered by the Inquisition.
I have had
But
family
there are many
murdered
people.
by the Inquisition. I understand their pain. I had 9 wives once.
Nine wives. That's a
Yes, 9.
lot of work.
No, not really. I spend a month with each. The way that our marriages work is we have wives in different tribes, and the shaman like myself, we travel from tribe to tribe to tribe to tribe to tribe, and we give them all of our magical and mystical knowledge about the spirits. But we also take wives in each of the tribes so that we are closer to the tribe. But they have wiped out 3 of tribes.
Yes, I've heard how they persecuted your people. I think here, take this, and she hands you a little map, and it's got the location of the ruins to the west.
Hands it to Webb because I really can't read.
She looks at it. She peers down it and tries to memorize it.
Okay.
Fixates on it.
Yeah, you've got a really good intelligence, so you can easily memorize the map. That's no problem at all. Listy says that Eric is dear to me, and please bring him back. It would mean a lot, and I would be greatly in your debt.
We will bring back Derek.
What does this Derek look like?
Eric. He's a human, she says, and he is in later years. It's probably he'll have some silver in his hair. It depends what state he's in, really. He's quite a distinguished
So
looking
can we
fellow.
use his hair to kill the big bad guy?
Lycanthropes.
Yes, that what Little Webb said.
Listy kind of is unsure whether you're joking or not. She kind of chuckles a bit, and she's like,
Oh no, I'm deadly serious. Road is that guy from Guardians of the Galaxy,
Right.
where they say
Yeah.
everything goes over his head, and he's like, no, my reflexes are too fast. I would catch it. That's what Road is kind of like.
yeah,
Takes
totally.
things very literally.
Yeah. No, dear Road, no. It's just Silver because of age. If you can bring him back to me, he's important to me, but he's also important to the cause. And thankfully, it's not the Inquisition that took him, but it was those that eat people. I'd rather he didn't end up on someone's dinner plate.
I may need something to take with me, if that is okay, Listy.
What do you require?
A very big sack to fit an old silver-haired gentleman in.
She raises her hand.
Yes.
A cleric. Or priest.
You don't need no cleric. You have Road.
She leans kind of forward. Certainly another warrior to help. Road.
Nah. No, I am brave enough.
She nods at her and find us a warrior. Find us
Listy,
help.
Listy says, someone trained in the magical arts would be extremely difficult, whether they are in hiding after all. I suppose if you really wanted a sellsword, you could get one, but how trustworthy would they be?
Perhaps you could work on it, she says.
It's okay, Little Webb. I will teach you how to fight. I will make you brave and strong.
Yes, I feel that Road could do much of the heavy lifting. Perhaps
I am
better to
very
leave
good
it
at
to
heavy
those you
lifting.
trust.
And he lifts the table up to prove a point.
Yeah, you lift the table easily.
He gently pats Webkey on the head, but obviously gently to him is it could be in very high danger of risking of breaking bones.
Right.
On
She
an
kind of
on
like
a
her head kind of goes
yeah,
down and she kind of cringes
pats
a
her
little
on the
bit.
head and just says, "Don't worry, little Web. I will fight them all, and then we will take Derek and we will bring him back, and we will sell his silver hair."
Okay.
You have the mighty Road with you. Never forget that.
Okay. So, assuming the rest of the party would like to partake on this rescue mission, you obviously have time to completely relax, to heal, to stitch your wounds. You're all back to 100%. You all have all your spells. Is there anything you want to buy in the
Yes.
shops?
Yes, I do need to buy something from the shop. Road will sneak out one morning before everyone wakes up because he likes to do shopping on his own. He doesn't want to be bothered by people with him, you know. So he'll go out when the shop's first open. He's going to find an apothecary, and he's going to
Mhm.
look at the apothecary. Look down at the apothecary because I'm assuming there's not that many tall apothecaries. And he's going to be like, "I need something to heal me."
The apothecary looks from over across her shop desk, and she says, "Oh, do you have a disease, sir?"
No, 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 no. I am disease free. I got healed some time ago from all my diseases. But the reason why I'm here is I need what did they call it? A kit of healthiness.
Oh, do you mean like a medicine kit?
N- Uh, yes, yes. They called it a kit of healthiness, but I am assuming it is the same thing.
Oh, I have. Hmm, I think I know. She kind of reaches up to a shelf behind her. She pulls down a leather-bound kit. I have this surgeon's kit. I think it's probably what you're looking for. She flips it
Okay,
open.
I will take it.
Inside,
But I also want a book on how to use it. It has to come with a instruction manual.
she smiles and says, "Ah, I see. This I can do." She gets you a book. It's a book of first aid. The title is "Stitching, Repairing, Stopping the Screaming: A Beginner's Guide to Field Surgery."
Very slowly reads the front cover because it takes a while to get through the front cover because it's a lot of words.
Yeah, it's written in common,
Um,
so you can understand
yeah,
it.
it's written in common. I can read common, I can write common, I can speak common. But I'm because my intelligence level is quite low. I'm just kind of struggling with it a little bit. I'm like your average everyday retard basically. Um, okay, so now I have that. What else do I need? Um, Nothing. It's time to go. How much?
5 silver pieces.
Can we make it 4?
We can if we do a charisma roll off.
I don't
So
do charisma because I'm stupidly ugly. Let me
if
check.
you want to barter, just give me a roll,
Barter.
d20. Oh, she rolled badly. You win.
Eh?
You win. She agrees. It's not often that people buy that book, so yeah, you can certainly take it for that.
I will also recommend your store to all of my friends when they need their kits of healthiness.
Why, thank you, sir. You're most
I
kind.
have only got 2 friends though, so they might not get much out of it.
She laughs like it's a joke and you're not being literal. Most people really don't understand the way you are.
Yeah, very little sense of humor. Okay, thank you very much, little apothecary lady.
Okay, so you can add a manual of first aid and field surgery, and also the kit to your inventory.
Thank you very
And
much.
Yaslana, you can find a pot for the boiling of water and cooking things.
Just don't leave it in empty houses this time. Yeah.
Oh, that won't be the last thing he loses, trust me.
His mind, it's already gone, mate.
Webkey would see her again, and another role play, but she tells him or tells her that she can see what's coming. She can see that you would use them to help your rebellion against the Codan Armada. No, that you'd help them. You know, you use them to help with your rebellion, and that
Yeah.
they're going to be very good. She can tell that they're going to be able to help you in many ways, but they're going to need help. And even though Road won't admit it, she's letting her know, like, she trusts her, and she's fully dedicated to this.
All right, cool. So, is there anything anyone else wishes to do?
Yes, there is something I need to do. I need to visit a blacksmith.
There is a dwarven blacksmith in town.
I'm going to stoop and go into his shop. I'm assuming it's quite small.
Mhm.
Say, Mr. Smith.
The dwarf kind of peers at you from like in front of his forge. What can I do for you?
I need you to do me something really important. And he puts his spear on holds his spear out, with the spear point towards the dwarf. I need you to just cover this thing in silver, just the tip, just a little bit of silver, enough to ruin, say, something beginning with L's Day.
The dwarf kind of looks at you. I don't know, lad. You know, silver's not a particularly strong metal you got there.
It does not.
Wouldn't you prefer a steel tip?
I have a steel tip, but what I want you to do is I want you to take the steel tip, dip it in a little bit of silver, so that it's a little coat that stays on the tip. Yes? And then I'm going to put it back on my spear, and then I'm going to stab something with it.
Well, I can certainly gild it for you in the silver. Certainly. That's interesting. Yeah, I could do that.
Yeah, I will pay you well in silver.
How much you offering?
How much do you want?
Oh, you know how it is. Make me an offer and I'll see if I like it.
Well, it's quite a big spear tip, so I will offer you 1 silver piece.
The dwarf folds his hands. Are you insulting me, lad? There'll be
No,
nowhere near
no,
that.
I'm just generally really bad at telling people how much they want. So you need to. It's called a negotiation for a reason.
I'll do it for you, but it'll cost you 90 silver pieces.
At this point, he literally exhales half of the air in his lungs, which is quite a lot. How much is that in gold?
Almost one.
Tell you what, I'll meet you halfway and give you 80 silver pieces.
The dwarf says, he thinks about it.
Plus, I will tell all of my friends how much of a wonderful man you are.
No. 90 or nothing.
You drive a very hard bargain, my short friend. So I will pay you the 90, and I will tell everyone that you are a very good blacksmith.
Welcome back, son.
Pay him the 8 gold. It's
Okay,
like
cool.
all of my worldly wealth, mind you, but I'll pay him it.
Yeah, he gets to work on your spear. He tells you it'll probably take about an hour for him to fully gild it.
It's okay, I can wait.
Does a good job. Does a very good job. It has that usual dwarven skill to it. So it's a lot more than just say like a silver leafing or painting on it. It looks like it could survive combat for a little while. It's probably not the best idea to parry with it. You're conscious of that fact, but you figure if you stabbed someone with it and they had some kind of weakness to silver, they would feel it.
My work done. Thank you very much, Mr. Smith. I will go.
Are you welcome, lad? Anytime.
And it's very fine job on the spear. It is it's very shiny now.
It is actually, yes. Okay, so Road and Webkey have done their shopping. Does anyone else wish to do anything before you head out on this rescue mission?
Not me.
Yaslana's all stocked up. All he needed was a pot.
Awesomeness.
I want to arrange a meeting with the thief guy that's roaming with us because nobody really he's just quiet background and
Yeah, he's in the tavern with you guys. You could certainly talk to him.
not acceptable. We have to know who this guy is.
He,
Go for
he
it.
took a little nap on us.
Oh, did he?
I
Cool.
will re-wax my snowshoes.
A good idea. Yeah, so Webb, Yellow Snow is in the inn, has been sort of tailing you guys. You can talk to him as you like.
Alright, she gets everybody together and I don't know, you guys, we can roleplay this or not, but she basically wants everybody to go over a few things that they're good at and what we can rely on each other for.
Well, I am good at stabbing things, hitting things, eating things, drinking things, and hitting things with sharp things.
Hello, Yellow Snow.
Don't forget crushing things.
Oh yes, and crushing things.
I've found a contact for you here in the inn. A fellow by the name of Snit. Apparently, he was an adventurer of sorts long ago. Snit Oldtooth. Perhaps you've heard of him. He's the elderly-looking goblin that usually sits over at the bar there.
He must still be in bed.
No, why?
Because he's not there now. He must be asleep.
He sort of disappeared.
Oh, magic.
I think he just left.
Oh, maybe that too.
But anyways, Yellow Snow, he said that if I or any of my friends ever needed any lockpicks or anything of the sort, to contact him.
Yes? What? I've been sleeping.
You sleep too long, little man.
Where are we? Back in that village?
Yes. No. No, we're not. Thinking about it. We are actually in the tavern where we started. The village is that way.
Thank you for the ping. That's better. I barely remember traveling here. Last time I
oddly
remember we were
curious.
traveling through the snows. Go ahead, Andy.
Sorry, man. I didn't realize you were talking at the time. Is the village on the way to the set of ruins we're going to be heading to?
No. Yeah, so Sun lets you know, Yellow, that the old goblin who frequents this place, who isn't on my map but actually is in the bar. He was an ex-adventurer. He called himself a specializer in the opening of locks and traps. He seems to be kind of like of the same profession as yours, you might say.
Yeah, my profession is mostly playing in the snow.
Oh, yes, of
Play with
course.
the grease box like I used to.
What is the goblin's position towards the Inquisition? And what is his? Let's see. I don't have a way to detect alignment, so I just size him up and just try to determine. Yeah, basically his alignment in meta terms. His disposition.
He's anti-Inquisition. He reckons they have too many rules. He's seen them like freezing people to the stake, which he says is stupid. He doesn't do typically goblin-y things like attack people. He's pretty much happy just to drink his honeyed mead and talk about the good old glory days when he was part of an adventuring group. He tells you a grand story of once where they came across a beholder and they slew it. He said that his stab to its back was the stab that brought the beast down.
Oh, cool. Isn't that a floaty monster?
He says, yeah. The ogre that he was traveling with threw him at it.
I was wondering how he got up on there. We have I have a friend who's actually a goblin throwing bear.
The goblin nods and is like, yes. It's good to be thrown sometimes. Of course, not now. I'm a little bit old. I think I'd probably land on my face.
Okay, I saw how he's kind of got a cane to him, and he's a little bit elderly goblin. I guess I'll give him some kind of respect and keep an eye on his thiefy skills. I know all the different ones that I have, like picking pockets and stuff. So I'll see if I can see, how much more talented he is than I am. What kind of, if he's a higher level or what. I'll kind of keep an eye on him. My character's kind of a true neutral, and I've been developing growing allegiance with the party of Road the Bear.
Yep.
And so with my true neutral disposition here, I don't have a bias really against the goblin. So if the rest of the party seems to trust him, I will keep a side eye on him.
Cool. He reaches into his robes and he takes out a little box and he says, well, I'm never going to use these, and you seem like the kind of guy that might find them useful. Take these. I'm sure you'll find them handy. And he offers the box to you.
All right. I will take the box and subtly do a fine traps on it when I first receive it to see if he's trying to trick me. And I don't notice it being trapped. So I'll check out the box as normal. I will examine it, look for latches, kind of open it, see what's in it.
Okay. You expertly look. And you're like, this definitely has no traps. Cool. And you pop it open. No traps go off, which is great. Inside, you find a set of lockpicks. The lockpicks look very well crafted. The ends have a kind of, where they'd normally be iron, the ends have little steel points that give them a bit more of a kind of dexterous edge to them. So if you were ever to make a lockpick check with these, you'd get plus 10% onto your roll for success.
Okay. Should I call those magic or masterwork?
Masterwork.
Okay, so masterwork, lockpicks, plus 10% checks. Something like that?
Yep, perfect.
Okay. I'll add that to my character sheet, so I start messing with the lockpicks and practicing with them on some, I think what they're called. They're locks that I have with me. What are those locks called, like you put on your locker at school?
Oh, like little padlocks.
Padlocks, yeah. So I would have some padlocks with me for practicing.
Cool, no problem. Yeah, they feel good. They're very well made.
I thank the goblin and ask him if he will be traveling with us, or does he live here at the inn, or have his own place in town?
He says, oh no, I won't be coming with you. I'm a little bit old. I'll only slow you down. I live in the inn. Me and Listy there, we have an agreement, don't we, love? And Listy just kind of grins and nods at him. And she goes about her work. He says, I made a lot of money from slaying that beholder back in the day, you see, so I don't really have to work anymore. And I got kind of tired of staying in tents and stuff, so I live in the inn. Why not? The food's great, the drink's amazing, and I get to meet interesting people.
I see. How come you're ready to give up these lockpicks?
Well, I'm never going to use them. it's my fingers, you see. And he like opens his little green hands, and they're kind of arthritic. They don't look very dexterous anymore. And he's like, it seems a shame for them to be burning a hole in my pocket. And as I say, I don't really need to sell them. I figure it's good that people of similar professional persuasions should help each other out.
Okay, what's his name again? What's his first
Snit.
name? Snit. This is Snit?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, Snit, thank you very much, and I shall owe you if I am able to put these to good use out in the snows. I shall bring back a percentage to thank you.
A true professional.
Hopefully, a budding professional. Just getting started in my career here. I've spent most of my career so far as a winter snow survivalist.
Awesome.
I'm new to this whole town thing and Lux and everything.
All right, so Listy gives you all rations to keep you going. They're better than your average iron rations, which would be cold and horrible. She gives you some cured meats, a little bit of meat to keep you warm, and you guys are ready to head out. So, Webb has the map, and unless she's inclined not to, she can no doubt show you guys the way.
Yep, she must have feel important. Make herself seem important.
Okay, you begin to head out. You leave the town. You walk down one of the more traveled roads, and then once you get a few hours into the wilderness, you kind of break off the road and start to trudge through the snow. It's not snowing heavily. There's a little bit of snow drifting down around you, and you can feel the coldness in the air against your cheeks, unless you're furry, or indeed you're wearing.
Well, Road's doing his usual thing as well, by the way, just by going down on all fours and just pushing through the snow to leave an ice.
Yeah,
to
you're
the
kind of
snow for
like
everyone to
doing your
walk
whole
on, so
snow
sounds like
plow
easy.
thing.
Also, if Webb wants to, she can be on the sled again. We need to get rid of it.
Alright, she's cool with that. That's one step closer to being on the bear's back by being pulled by the bear.
That's the compromise I hope you're going to stick with.
Yeah, we'll see about that one.
Yeah, you keep going, and your journey is strangely uneventful. You head through the forest. You can hear the sound of the animals moving around, going about their business. You don't come across anyone. As you get closer, you can see in the distance these ruins. You kind of get much closer to them, and I will move screens.
Old man, what are you doing in this Temple of Evil?
I am killing things. Move on.
I don't know if anybody knows that reference, but that's from the CD game from D&D. They teach you how to play D&D.
As you approach these ruins, you can see that there are large carvings out of the stone of humanoid-looking peoples. The place looks as though it's been ruined for a very, very long time. It's frozen out. There are some signs that people have been here. There's some old camps, some burnt-out fires. And as you kind of look around, you can see that where
Absolutely
there was once
nothing but a black screen.
Yep. You can see that there are what looks to be like the entrance to what would have been a temple, but the temple's broken down, and it's kind of like steps that lead down.
Down to an interior underground kind of basement type place.
Down, down, down to Goblin Town.
Don't worry, people. I will go first.
Spectacular scene picture.
Yes, Lana and I should be in the middle, and you two should be in the back. Or you should be in the back, she points to y'all snow.
As always, can everyone see? That's always a good start.
Yes.
So very limited, but I mean I
No.
see, but it's an interesting combination of yeah, like the middle of the whole room is black. I can see kind of the edges of a room, that's all. Like not even the center of the room.
Yeah, it's super dark. The bit where you kind of like can't see, you kind of you feel around and you can feel that it's wall. You're in what you're kind of like as the passageway has gone down. It's quite a narrow kind of passage.
I'll be improvisioning, so I'll be looking for signs of heat, but I'm kind of at the back of the party when we're in single file line or near the back. So the little halfling keeps moving to the right wall and to the left wall and kind of leaning to see around the bear's legs at the front to see if there's anything ahead. So we're
Okay.
going down.
Yeah, it's kind of on a slope that you're heading downwards.
So like we're on like a ramp, like in a football stadium or something.
Yeah,
You look
yeah.
down and then turn and then down some more.
Yeah, and then once you get to the second turn, it kind of levels off, and then you're kind of in a flat sort of plane. As you look around, you can see that there are, where the snow has sort of swept down these stairs, there are footprints, humanoid footprints that sort of lead to further down and further out, sort of in both directions. Road, as you sniff the air, you can smell the smells of kind of like damp, and that's about it really. Damp, wet, sort of that kind of feel.
Do not worry, my friend. We will clear this evil place.
Awesome. Let's clear the evil place.
You can hear like as you get a bit deeper in, as you're moving, it feels like it's getting not noticeably warmer in a sort of pleasant way, but in a less windswept way, and you can hear the dripping of water as like ice is melting.
Also, Lex, I think you've got the grid off, so I can't arrow key move. If you want it that way, that's okay.
That's fine. I can put that on actually.
You can
Yeah, I like
you can
it with
hold
the arrow.
you can hold Alt and use the arrow keys though.
Let me
It's
try
just
that.
slower.
Car.
Yeah.
I see. Oh, that's pretty cool. It is slow, but that's kind of too slow. So have you got invisible grid on now? Let me see.
The grid's not lining up to the map, so we'll have to
put,
ungrid it for a bit.
Go back to it. Put it back on, Lex, and put the units on like 0.2 or something, 0.2 or 0.5. The scale. I'm sorry, grid size. Make it 0.2 or 0.5, and then it will line up better. It'll have a lot more boxes, so it'll. But then you can also make it invisible, so we don't have to see it.
Or don't use it.
There, that's better. Well, I like it on because I can use the arrow keys. Which lets the movement when you move with the mouse key, your movement only conveys to the other people when you let go of the mouse and drop it, so they don't see your path along the way. If you use the arrow keys, it looks a little more like you're stepping about and kind of alive.
You mean
So I like it.
what if I do this?
Well, let me see what you're doing. Oh, no, I love that. That's great. I like when
awesome.
you do that a lot. I think that's really cool. I know how to do it, but I'm not as quick at it as you are. The paths. I showed someone how to do that yesterday. Let me see. Hold on. Jason was not in the reverse dungeon yesterday, but I showed someone how to do that technique because of the way you've been doing it. It was someone that was playing a party of goblins, so they had multiple goblins, and they were moving multiple at once. You know how you can highlight like 2 of them and still do the same path thing? It looked really cool.
They're coming for you. Come for your daughter, Chuck.
That was
how dark
exactly
is it
what
down
ran
here,
through
Lex?
my mind.
Yeah.
Lex, how dark is it down here?
It is dark. There's no light source. If you can't see a light source, there isn't one. It's literally just your eyes in the dark.
Is anyone here not got improvision? Is anyone here humanish, or do bears have infra? I don't know.
Bears don't have infra.
I have a really good sense of smell, but I don't have it. I actually have a really bad vision.
Yeah, so
even in
it's
the light.
it's fairly dark in here for you. You're kind of like, this sucks.
He needs a torch.
I'm going to go into my backpack and remove a torch, light it, and hand it to Webb and say, "Stay close, little Webb. You are my light."
Oh, she looks back at Yellow.
A light to his foot and a lamp to his roadway.
So yeah, he goes to offer you a lit torch, Webb, which is unpleasant. It's
Yeah, it
quite
is.
bright.
It's bright, and she puts her goggles on, and she holds it away from her face because it's really, really hot to her, and feathers and birds and fire don't go well together.
They
So
do
with
if you
your
want to make a nice roast chicken.
with your shaded goggles on and having a bright light, your sight is poor now. It's quite disorientating trying to wear dark shades in a dark place against a singular light source that's kind of not in front of you. So your ability to see is compromised quite a bit.
Okay, she hold on. This is too bright. She hands it over to Road or to Sen. Take this. I can't use this. It's too bright.
Don't worry, little Webb. I will carry it then.
I can see just fine.
Carries the spear in one hand and the torch in the other.
She bumps Sun. Like, take the torch.
I hand it to Road. Your torch, Road. If I were to carry it behind you, I would only have you be blocking the light. You should carry it yourself so you can see.
You make a valid point, little coward elf.
Your diminutive fellow companion comments, "Shh, I think I hear chewing."
Carrion crawlers.
Don't worry, we will kill the chewers. Wow, son, I haven't seen anyone move that quickly since you ran away last time.
I know, right? She watches him run away.
Yeah, Lizana, you have a feeling the dead ones have followed you. It makes perfect sense.
Gebke looks back ridiculously as if, God, none of these people have any courage.
So, Road, as you enter that bit, as you can see on your token, on the floor in the what is kind of like wet, it's watery because it's partially melted. There is blood, and it looks like it's a drag mark. It's something that was bleeding quite heavily has been dragged along this hallway. Yeah, it does smell fresh. Of course, the cold water would preserve it to a degree, but it doesn't look as though it's congealed or anything. It looks freshly pumped, shall we say.
Do we have any rangers? Can anyone track?
I'm a more roguish, and I have winter survival, so I search for rabbit prints in the snow. But the floor here is not snowy.
You could give it a try. Hold
Hmm.
up. Stop moving.
So I don't think there's an actual thief ability in 2E for tracking, is there?
Only in
No,
the Thief's
you-
Handbook.
Would it be an NWP GAR or a
Mhm.
a D100?
Yeah.
NW?
So, yep.
Yeah.
Okay, I
you
don't.
can
I at my level, I haven't chosen that NW yet. I've got the Winter Survivalist NW. So I try to look in the dust on the floor and simulate as if looking for rabbit footprints in the snow.
Okay, cool.
Probably worthy of a. Oops, I did it as a. Yeah, let me see. I did it as a D100. That's wrong. Sorry. Let me do a D20. Okay, 11 and let me see what kind of stats I've got on this. It would probably be con. But I mean, when I'm outside in the winter, it's con, I think, because it's winter survivalist. So con 17, rolled 11, obviously penalized for not being in the snow zone.
Okay,
And it's dark.
You notice that there's like many tracks that move back and forth. Lots of people have been here, but there is a fresh set of human-sized footprints. They look bare, so whoever it was wasn't wearing shoes, and also drag marks of a body. Although the body wasn't stationary, it was moving. Whether that's because the person was dragging it roughly or it was struggling, hard to say.
Yeah, I tell the others it was struggling. So some barefoot human, or possibly a yeti, has dragged some bloody and struggling, resisting victim through here. I hope it's not the
Yeti.
It could be. I think don't they have feet kind of like humans?
Bye. Yetis are big and scary. I'm not fighting a yeti.
I try to measure one of the footprints, count the toes, and see what size of shoe they would wear. I say that they would wear a size 4 shoe.
Yep.
And that would be very small for a yeti.
It would be.
So it could be a baby yeti.
Oh, baby yetis. I can handle.
Wherever there's a baby, there's a mommy.
No, yetis don't work that way.
Well, then there's a daddy then.
No, they don't work that way. They abandon their children very young.
Savages.
Okay, Road, as you get to there, because your sight should actually be right. Yes, it is.
I can see it, yeah.
Yeah, you can see that there is 2 things. There's the corpse of some recently killed person that still bleeds in that way that the body doesn't realize it's quite dead yet. Kneeling over it is a humanoid that looks like this. The humanoid is completely unclothed. They have a kind of soft, downy hair that covers their bodies haphazardly. It's kind of gaunt, a bit emaciated, and parts of its skin are actually frozen, as though it's frostbitten. Like its fingers are black, its toes are black, and it's munching away on the corpse, like, and it's just kind of like eating.
Oh, that's just lovely.
I'm just going to
Shall we kill it?
probably. Yeah.
Who's its victim? Who you said it's munching on a what?
It looks like a human. It's kind of concentrating on the arm. It's almost like it's trying to gnaw the arm off.
Is that one wearing shoes? Big
Yeah.
boots?
Yeah, it is.
Okay. I remark, between the two, the one with the footprints is probably that barefoot white walker over there.
Don't worry, we will kill it. And he charges into battle.
All right, I will initiate.
Yeah, I think so too. I don't see any parley or negotiate with the guy with the face like that.
To be fair, he's eating human flesh. That's considered a no-no in my tribe.
Yeah. I'm not for that either, so.
Ah, fuck, we're
shall-
dead. His
I
Lana
shall
goes first.
bravely-
We're all doomed.
I shall bravely back up the bear.
Ha ha ha.
Oh yeah, unless I get wild magic right here. Let's see. Just a comment, Lex. GM thing. Yizlana is the only person in the party whose name I cannot see in the turn order. So there's one check mark on Yizlana's token to allow other players to see their name. That would make it consistent with the rest of the party. Everyone else I can see their name, but Yizlana I can't. And the White Walker I can't see his name in the chat. But that's
that's weird. I re-enabled it. It was enabled before though.
It's still not enabled on my end on Yizlana. It's okay though. It's no big deal. I'm starting to recognize who she is. I'm getting more used to it.
He.
Sorry, Yizlana sounds like a female name, and your picture
I
looks
know,
like you have a
right?
skirt on.
Too small, we can't see his face.
Yeah, nothing weird happens.
It's not a skirt, it's
Sweet.
a kilt.
Oh, is it okay? Kilt? Okay.
Let me pull up my.
Okay, so Lex put everyone in the initiative, right? We don't need to initiative ourselves. That's been done.
Thank you, Lex.
What?
Sexy, Lexi.
That's the to hit roll. I don't have a macro written out for it.
Yeah, that's fine. No problem.
I don't think I've written most of my macros yet either.
That was OG.
Yeah, that definitely hits him.
Oh, jeez. Okay. Hold on.
It does. That hits him. A 10. So
Yeah,
he's
yeah.
completely unarmored and he's just standing there eating, not trying to get away. Okay.
Yeah, he didn't even look up from his meal, so he gets hit in the head, or like the head and shoulders, by this chromatic orb.
Oh, cool. Cool. What is a chromatic? What is your It's dark in here. Can we? I guess we see a glowing chromatic orb shoot through the air. It's a ball of light, I guess.
Yes, it's like a orange-colored little orb that flies in and hits him for 1 damage. He needs to save versus spell.
Oh, it's orange, so you kind of like do like a LeBron James and like shoot it over. You arc it up over Rhodes' head and it lands down on the White
No,
Walker. It's a
No,
basketball.
you were right. It is red at 2nd level.
That's fine.
3rd level's the orange.
Okay, your orb does indeed arc past Road, and it hits him on one of his shoulders, and the creature looks up and is like, "This is mine. You can't have it."
Did it save versus spell?
It did roll for its save, and it didn't make it. It looks like it was wounded by it.
Okay, so well, it would take the damage anyway. The damage always happens.
Cool.
Because it failed its save, it loses 1 point of strength and dexterity, or if it doesn't have those attributes, it's -1 to hit, and
Okay.
it has a penalty of 1 on its AC for 1 round.
Nice. Good.
So there you go,
Awesome.
Road. It's easier to hit him now, and he can't hit you as easily.
Steps in and shoves my spear at him.
Jesus. Okay, yeah, you jam your spear into its torso and pretty much lift it off its feet, so it sort of slides down your spear slightly, piercing its bony sort of ribs, cracking them. Then out of its back, it kind of goes, and you can see some of its meal drops out of its mouth, and it limply dies on the end of your spear and kind of hangs there.
As it dies, Road is mutters in common, No, nobody eats the corpses of the dead.
Yes. Okay. Very good. I can see these are very principled bear tribe. That's cool. Hey, don't a lot
Right.
of your cousins eat humans?
No, what cousins?
I don't know, just regular bears, not the talking kind.
They are not my cousins. We are nothing alike.
Okay. All right. Let's. I'll come up now that the threat has been cleared. I'll come up and start searching the victims, see if there's any way to revive them, or better yet, any useful items we can loot off.
Okay. You check him to see if he's alive, and he's not. Whatever this creature was had gnawed most of its arm off. There's kind of like just a bone stump, and it's kind of a bit detached. You go through his pockets, and you find 20 silver pieces in his pockets. He's got a small, it looks like a small dagger. It's not very descript. Sort of, you roll him over, and you can see that this guy was obviously a farmer. He's got peasantry clothing on. He was obviously caught and dragged here.
So basically, taken here as a the thing was very animalistic, and it just took this person here as just a fleshy victim.
It's a reasonable supposition.
Probably was not an adventurer who came exploring in here and ran across that monster. Just due to the dragging path, it seems like he was harvested as a food.
Yeah, this guy doesn't look like a fighter or anyone who could do spells. He's not, although that's rare obviously here. He just looks like your everyday sort of slob.
Well, if there's any more White Walkers, they would probably be either deeper in this structure, layering, or they're out on the hunt right now and could be coming back here later.
Do I see any writings on the wall or anything of the ruins as you're walking through?
The dagger was his Excalibur. Quite the king of farmers you've looted. Congrats.
What's Excalibur?
So you take a look at the dagger and say it's valuable. It's a keeper. Let me get who everybody's character is, so I make sure I'm in order here. Obviously, I know who Road is. He's a bear man. I don't know the name of that species.
It's Ursius Major. I'm actually a shaman.
Oh, a shaman. I thought I was going to say warrior for sure. Okay, so
Nope,
you're a shaman.
I'm a shaman of the. If you want the full the backstory, I'm a shaman of the Black Lake tribe.
Cool.
But I'm no longer part of the tribe for one reason, which I haven't discussed with the party.
Cool.
So that's my basic character concept.
Okay. Let me go through. I'm trying to just make sure I get everybody's like race and species, like height, that I can picture the party. So Sun, I hear Sun Lord talking in like a little elfy voice, so I think he
Yes,
is
of course.
like
That's how we talk.
that's some kind of an elf. It's normally
I'm a Pruine elf, wearing a robe which conceals several lumpy pouches, and wearing a heavy-looking rucksack. A sling dangles lightly from my right wrist. Like a small bird, I seem hyper-aware of my surroundings, my eyes and head darting quickly, almost imperceptibly, to catch a glimpse of anything which moves or makes a sound.
I perceive you to be some kind of a magic user then, and maybe a heretical one, something like that.
Yes,
so I
of
see you with the
course.
sling and the bumps. I perceive to be maybe material components, and I think I'm aware of some. I've noticed the Inquisition in the town, and I've noticed the bear being a bouncer and kind of clashing with them in the RP and stuff. So what do I think about the alignment of your elf? How do I perceive you, like, dispositionally?
Sort of animalistic.
Okay.
Neutral evil.
He's also a coward.
I'm a true neutral halfling, so I guess I keep taking like kind of a wait and see approach, but I've developed an allegiance to the party there. So I size up the elf, and now I look at Vidka or Webkey.
Yeah, wrong character.
Sorry, it's very similar. Webkey is a human female. Tell me what I see about her, so I can size her up.
She's like some sort of fey-touched human. Her hair is very bushy on the top of her hair. If you look at her token, it's very, very bushy, and it's brown. And she has feathers kind of around her shoulders, and she has wings that kind of pop out of her back.
Oh.
She has eyes that are yellow and big sockets. Her head kind of bobs up and down, kind of like an owl, and it can turn 360 degrees around completely. She never like looks at you with her eyes. Her eyes never move. They stay straight on her face, so she has to turn her head to look at you. She has normal teeth, like woman teeth. Her gums are like all normal except for her middle tooth, upper tooth. Instead of having two teeth, she has one tooth there, and it's kind of like a beak. And she is about 4'2" or so.
Oh,
and she seems to be very, very light, despite her kind of poofiness. And if she was to get like wet, you probably imagine like dogs get wet and they're really skinny and small. She's like that. She's kind of poofy because she has like maybe the dress or her clothing on and stuff like that. But she's very small underneath all of that, and she weighs like nothing. She's like 40 pounds or something.
Wow. Okay, I'm picturing the party better now. Initial guess would be like Druidess or something. I also have no clue on the race, but so you've got a head that turns all the way around. You're small like a gnome.
She kind of has like owl-like features.
Interesting.
So picture, like her eyes. She has big eye sockets with yellow eyes. The eyes don't move. Like an owl's eyes don't move. It has to turn its head to like look at things. She does that, and you've seen her on more than one occasion turn her head completely around.
Yeah, that's weird.
and look behind her.
Uh-huh.
She oftentimes wears like kind of like turtlenecks and things like that around her neck.
Uh-huh.
I don't know.
Okay. What about profession? Like what can I size her up on that? What kind of weapons and stuff has she been doing?
She has a dagger that she took that was given to her, but that was just recently. You would probably find that she's just super intelligent.
Yeah.
Like I don't think she's casted anything or done anything.
Okay.
That's been
Big-
quite useless, to be fair.
Yeah.
So there's one more character for me to get back to, which is Yzlana. But between all of us right now, I've just sized up. I don't know how tall the elf is, but I feel like everyone is miniatures except for the large bear. We get a lot of shorties. How tall is the elf?
I haven't rolled height. I don't know how tall the elves are in this campaign.
They're
Yeah,
pretty much the same
like-
as most elves. They're kind of human size.
Okay, so more lithe or skinny, thin than a human normally in
Yeah.
build, but
But
that
I mean, they vary as much as humans do. You get short elves, tall elves.
Webkey, Yellow Snow, and Yzlana are all small. Yzlana, what does your appearance and race look like?
He's wearing nothing but fur-lined clothes and a cloak. He carries a staff, club, and darts, and he is a snow fae.
Don't know what a snow fae is, but my character would know.
It's
My
it's
character's an Arctic halfling.
Yeah, it's one of Lex's custom races.
Tell me a little bit more about him, like in terms of like physicality, like height and stuff. Because I think you said earlier you were 4'8".
He is 4'3" and a whopping 85 pounds. He is very small.
Okay, three of us are similar in size then. I mean, not exactly the same, but Webkey, Yellow Snow, and Yzlana are all kind of like in the 4-foot range, under 100 pounds. So we got three fifth graders in the party.
Right.
Three people the size of a 10-year-old human.
And at least one of them blows things up and shines like a beacon and all kinds of other crazy shit.
Yeah, and put me to sleep earlier. I'm
Is
sure that was some wild magic.
Lex, is there anything like on the walls or anything that I see as far as writing or anything like that?
You have a look at the walls. No, this was obviously some kind of passageway it's been hewn into the ice. It's been sculpted. It's meant to be here and reinforced with rocks. So this is obviously was a place of either a place of worship or a place of burial or something like that. But there's no marking specifically on the walls itself yet.
We done with the meet and greet?
You don't recognize like any cultural kind of like how the slabs are or anything like that.
Okay. Okay.
Let's sniff the air again, Lex.
Mm-hmm. You can smell the blood behind you and the corpse. There's like a draft that comes from in front of you guys, rather than behind, which in itself is a little bit odd. And in that kind of smell, you can smell people, like the smell of occupancy. You can also smell a slight smell that smells a bit like the inn, like food being cooked, but it's mixed with also the dampness of this place.
Smells like they are preparing dinner.
Well, shall we be off then?
Could be some kind of an indoor town or a lair, and they must have other larger openings than the one that we came through to get into here, so that the air pressure is forced from the other direction.
Is there a breeze that goes through here?
Yeah, there's a breeze as the way that you're walking.
The wrong way.
Yeah, it should. You would expect it to be behind you, but it's not. It's in front of you. It's like a very light sort of breeze that you only notice when it was when you think about it. It's like a. It's not like a wind or anything. It's just a very small draft.
It carries the smells from ahead, though.
Yeah. And as you sort of walk further into this place, you can hear, for those of you that aren't particularly stealthy, you can hear the footfalls, your own ones echoing slightly. Hear the echoing going off into the distance. Whatever this place is, it seems like it's quite far into the ground.
Is it getting colder?
No, because you're out of the wind, it's kind of the same sort of temperature. It's cold down here, but it's not worse than it is outside.
I've explored tombs like this before. Ruins. Burial sites. There's a great jungle where I come from, called Chult, and there are many temples that are overtaken by the jungle. Sometimes they have trapdoors that entrap you in the tombs.
Lex, can you ping me? I lost my place.
Yeah.
In the blackness.
And in the many tombs that I've been in, ones with long, narrow corridors are usually the biggest.
I've been scoping to look where we should search for a secret door. If we see a place that looks like it's not sloping down and it might have a hidden closet, or I don't want to do it on the ramps, like on the handicap ramps at the football stadium, but when it's on a flat way and there's a little alcove indentation, or like the owl was just saying, like that the narrow corridors imply that there are other rooms. So when the architecture suggests, I'll do a D6.
All right, cool. Yeah, no problem. You keep your eyes peeled.
This is a long freaking corridor, Lex.
It is. It is indeed.
She says, long corridors often give way to great rooms, large rooms.
What's the slope like on this?
So once you get to the corner that Road's at, the slope evens off, and it's like an even flat plane.
Okay, where it evens off, she like bends down and takes a look at the seams of where it evens off. She wants to see if there's any type of traps there, even though she really can't look for traps. She's just gonna look anyways.
Okay. Road, you raise your snout to the air, and you don't really smell anything of consequence. You're like,
The same stuff as I smelled before, really.
Yeah.
It's evened out. She says the dungeon is going to get bigger. A lot bigger.
Don't worry, little web. I will find my way through.
Yeah, there's a fork in the.
I'm more worried about
tunnels.
finding our way back.
I have a mind like a genius. I can remember my way.
Yeah, you're a genius, alright.
I am indeed. Thank you for noticing.
She glances back at anybody who notices how she said that.
Now, as you're walking down this part of the tunnel, the small, say, half an inch of water that you're sloshing in as you walk through, it's not got the same clear melted snow look to it. Now it's a bit brown. It looks as though it has something else in it, and it's got its own sort of. It's not a horrible smell, but it's a slightly unpleasant smell, almost like the kind of smell when you have a packet of ham and you open the ham up and it's ever so it's ever so slightly too old, and you get that kind of that funky kind of. Ooh,
It looks
this
like
ham
we
might
have
be off.
found the poop room, people. Be prepared.
Webkey like covers her mouth with a cloth, and then she looks up, veers up at the ceiling to watch the ceiling very closely. How tall is the ceiling in here?
It's about 10 feet from floor to ceiling.
So my head is pretty much brushing the ceiling then. Almost.
Yeah.
It almost feels like a labyrinth. Good thing we
What
have
is a
beast.
labyrinth?
It's a maze.
No, I am not amazed.
No, it's a maze.
Oh, oh. This common tongue is very hard for me.
But in those types of maze, in the labyrinth, she says, a great beast helped guide people through it.
Good, I will kill it.
And stop.
Minotaur.
So as you say the words, and I will kill it, Road, your bare paw stands on one of the flagstones and it dips ever so slightly and there's a clicking noise. Roll me a dex.
Good luck. Nope.
Chicka chicka brown cow.
You
That's
hear
like
this.
double of my dex.
So as your bare paw sort of stands on the flagstone, it goes down. There's a, and you hear this, and a number of darts come out the sides of the walls and impact you in the sides, and you take 2 damage from little stingy darts.
Do not worry, my friends. It didn't hurt.
I'm not worried about the darts, I'm worried about the poison.
She walks over. She waves over someone from the back, because these guys look like they deal in poison. Wretched thieves.
Do not fret, my little friend.
She pulls out one of the darts and hands it like up to him to like smell it.
Sniffs it.
You look at the dart. It's very, very old. It's kind of made of stone. There's nothing strange on it other than your blood.
Yes, there is nothing on this but old stone and fresh blood, which I would assume is from me.
One would hope.
I do not care. Buddy, I will be your trap finder.
I feel safer already.
Yes, you should.
I had a dwarf once who had a perfect record for finding traps.
Every character I've ever played is, even the rogues, have run headlong into traps and then gone, oops.
Roed, we're gonna have to have a long talk after we get out of here.
Why?
Well, to talk about stuff.
Oh, about what?
Your dungeon side manor.
I have no idea what that means, but okay, we talk about that later. Man, you've made these freaking tunnels long, Lex.
I like it. That way,
I
when we're
don't.
running from the Imperial Alliance inside,
Dun, 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 dun.
we'll have an opportunity if we run real far and get lost.
And as you walk around here, you can see that to the south of you, there's a door. The door takes up the entire of the way. It's like 5 foot from the ground, so you're actually taller than it. It's just a wooden door.
You want to see my secret way of opening doors, Webb?
Are you gonna kick it?
No, I have a much better way of opening doors.
Are you gonna punch it?
No, I have a much better way of opening doors.
Are you gonna run up and hit it with your butt?
No,
She smiles at
I
him.
have a much better way of dealing with it.
Well, bear down.
Okay. Walks up to the door and then just knocks on it.
Okay. You knock on the door. A few moments pass.
You should
And
step back.
no one answers the door.
Knocks louder.
You sort of bang on the door. It rattles in the frame. It doesn't look as though it's locked though, but it kind of does that rattly door thing.
Yeah.
And noses aren't going to work. Our thiefy fellow might want to do a listen check. That would be useful.
Road, I think you should step back.
Why?
Because this is the first door we found in this place.
Yes, but no one is in. They did not answer the door.
It could be trapped.
Ah.
Here, stand around the corner, everyone.
So your yellow snow fellow, he kind of like his ears prick, and he has a little listen.
Okay, I got it. I'll open the door.
It's someone in there that wants to eat people, probably. Some of those White Walkers.
Let me go first, Webb. I am big and strong. You are
If they
small and
talk.
weak. There's a door open if I try the handle.
Yeah, the door will open.
Right. Try the handle and then shove the door open.
Okay, you push open the door. And I will remove it.
See? Nothing to be scared of. There is only lots of people in here.
We should fight them here in the corridor. It limits
I
their
was
space.
planning on it.
There's light from inside there from a few torches that are on the walls. You see that there are some more of those strange, emaciated, partially furred people in there. Their hands are covered in like red, and they've got like red around their mouths. They were obviously eating. Behind them is a pile of corpses, and those corpses are at various degrees of rotting, and some are
Decom.
fresh, some aren't so much. They're obviously what they've been feasting from. You suspect maybe this is their larder. The group, they all kind of look at you and they crouch down into little crouches and they sort of hiss and sneer at you.
Can I respond with, "Did you not hear me knock?"
One of them it sort of speaks in a broken common. Ah, he's big. Let's eat him. We will eat well for weeks.
I taste bad, I can assure you.
Fight them in the corridor. She says.
Awesome.
Take some step back. I'm gonna move right here.
Hi, Islana's hacking, man. He's always getting good ones.
I'm not
Yeah.
even rolling it. That's Lex
I know,
rolling it.
I know.
Yeah,
Hacked.
Islana is up.
Hacked. He's hacked it.
It just sucks because they're not in the right position. Islana's going to crowd in next to Road as best as he can.
Yep.
And oh god, this is going to be ugly. I know it is.
Oh, it's gonna be awesome. Ugly for the White Walkers, maybe.
Oh,
Ugly for Yslana with the natural one.
Well, no,
Yeah, looks so doomed.
Oh, is that a good
thankfully,
roll?
no, thankfully this spell doesn't require level. Otherwise, I just cast it as one level lower.
Oh, that's how
Okay,
the wild magic's working.
Roll on your magic, your wild magic
Son of
D100. Feel like the spell's going to work, it goes a bit wrong, and then you get that familiar surge in your blood where everything goes dizzy, your eyes partially unfocused, and you're like, oh, it's happening
Oh.
again.
Oh, good God.
Oh no.
Oh no.
Okay, Lex, so is this going to work the same way that sleep would have? Because, yeah.
What's the effect?
You guys must be whisper chatting what spell he casted because I don't even know.
I was casting sleep, which would hit a few of them, and that's the result on the Wild Surge table.
Yeah, last time you tried to
Okay.
cast like warmth or something, and I ended up going to sleep for magically for 2 hours.
The target sprout a useless appendage.
All right, give me a moment.
I mean, I don't know how many of them would sprout that useless appendage. That's up to you.
That's all right. I will do this.
I've all gone from the initiative table as well, Lex, by the way.
I know.
I mean, it could have been worse. I'm okay with that one.
I could do with another eye.
Well, it's a useless appendage, so I mean, it'd just be an
They
eye.
do not look pretty. Cheers, mate.
Yeah, so you go to cast sleep, you're pretty sure it's sleep, and you get that dizzying, weird feeling in your head, and everything goes weird. You're momentarily drunk for a few seconds. The strange, hairy people, they all scream in unison as their bodies twist, their sinews snap, their bones break, their arms start to elongate. They grow multiple appendages throughout their bodies. They kind of like fall onto the floor as they start to uncontrollably mutate. Their eyes snap back open. Some have 2, some have 6, some have 18, and they all roar as one and start to slowly get used to their appendages and how they move. They start to approach you. So they will go last in the round because they're all screwed up. There we go.
There's still water on the floor.
Yeah, there's like a very shallow kind of water that covers
Is there
everything
any,
from
is
melting.
there any cracks in the wall?
Yeah, the walls do have a few cracks in them. Yeah.
Right. Well, Road turns with the torch, jams it into one of the cracks in the wall, probably making the crack slightly larger. To be fair, holding it in place, and then he withdraws his shield and then just stands in the doorway.
Okay, you can do that certainly.
That's my action. I'm not doing anything else.
You're going to sort of bar the door.
And he's going to yell at them. I will sing to you the songs of my people as I slay you. And then starts grumbling and mumbling in his own language.
You're certainly bigger than the door, so you can physically impose yourself in the doorway.
I am the new door. I had to lean down to tell them that before I stood up again, just letting you know.
Yeah.
I don't think Gold has any fog of war around him or still, what's it called?
Can't see him. He went away.
He's like Sunro.
Oh, hey.
He ran away from the fight.
He's Solid Snake.
I think he's the only token we don't share vision with.
Okay, so is that on purpose or is that something we should adjust?
I will actually adjust that.
Yeah, let the others know where I'm at.
Yeah, it would help him not get lost.
Yeah. Okay, you slip into the shadows. You feel like you've done a good job.
All right, I'm sort of hiding next to the, like you said, Solid Snake. So, what's the name of that video game? So Metal Gear Solid. So yeah, I'm just I was around the other corner there, and I found a little cardboard box, put that on, and then you just noticed a cardboard box kind of walked in between Vipka and Sun roared, and then parked itself right here next to the door without anybody really noticing. I basically look like an Amazon delivery for the White Walker room sitting on their front porch door.
All right, cool.
Did
Sun.
you just ping us, or did I drag myself somewhere? Because it all went black for me all of a sudden. Oh, thank you. That's better.
So, Sun, bearing in mind there is a bear blocking the doorway.
I'm going to buff the bear. I'm going to cast Enlarge upon the bear so that he does 1.2 times as much damage as normal.
Nice.
That might be a bad idea.
You'll only be 1.2 times as tall.
Yes, I'm already 9 foot. It's a 10-foot high corridor.
You'll have to drop to all
If you
fours.
do the
You'll be
math,
like-
that's fine. No, if you do the math, that's fine.
Oh yeah, 1 point. Yeah, exactly.
So my head is now squished up against the ceiling. Great.
Cool. You feel yourself stronger and larger. Little web.
She says to Rorad, she says, Rorad, fall back into the corridor to the T. She says, fight them in the corridor. So they're single file.
Good tactics.
And she kind of moves here so that they can basically hit him from this side and hit him from this side when they come in here, and they can only attack one at a time, whereas we can kind of flank them from both sides. And they can only walk in single file. Unless these things start crawling on the walls, not giving you ideas, Lex.
Okay. So the thing's turns, which I won't jump into the order because it resets everything. First one. Yep. Let me change the macro a bit because they're horrible creatures now. That's better. Okay, so the first one will strike at the bear in the doorway.
Nope.
Nope. Tries to rake its bony, mutated hands down you, but you block it with your shield. Second one comes up and does the same. Which is also a nope. The other two won't be able to fit, so they will just stagger, pull, slime their way behind. Top of the round, Yaslana.
Bear's got the door full of bear. There ain't nothing I can do.
the giant bear?
Giant Bear is currently singing a song in his own language about Berazad the Great, who slaughtered an entire tribe of goblins with nothing but a pickaxe. And he did hear Webb, but he has decided to ignore her for now because moving away from them poses a bigger risk. So what he's going to do, he's going to try and thin the herd a little by striking out at the one to his left.
Mm-hmm. Yep, you cleave it quite nicely. It squeals and thrashes on the ground as it drops into two pieces. The piece is still thrashing around.
Able to disengage after that attack action, or is it a full round action? I can never remember.
You can take a step back if you like, because these things have been recently transmuted, so they're not used to their appendages, which are completely unnatural.
How much is a step back? Is it just one?
You could
Back
move
up to the
back to
corridor.
where the where Sun's standing. You could sort of step back to where the junction is. Yeah.
That is Road's turn.
Yella. Solid Snake.
The cardboard box moves around in the hallway a little bit and shifts position. Nobody notices. People just assume that the residents must have restacked the boxes or something out of the way. Let's set these packages out of the way until after this battle.
You better
Yeah,
hope
it could
they
be a
don't
Wimmy.
with the boxes.
Could be a yeah.
Like these could be nice cereal boxes. Let's get what's inside.
A mimic.
So what is a mimic?
Amazon. Special delivery.
So what happened to the body of the one that just died?
The bits thrashed around for a few seconds before sort of twitching and then falling still, and it's just kind of like its entrails, though weirdly mutated, kind of splashed the floor. It's definitely dead.
Did it bleed all over the floor?
Yeah.
Alright. I'm going to metamorphose liquids on its blood to turn it into acid.
Nice. You can certainly do that.
That uses my Walter slot for the day.
And so once it's changed to acid, what's the damage for touching the acid?
2d4 per round in the acid.
All right. That's harsh. I like it. First one. Okay, so as they're sort of clambering over their fallen foe, all the water around them transmutes, and there's a hissing noise. They kind of like stagger around and they shake their bizarre malformed limbs, and two of them just fall slump. They're not able to sort of manipulate their weird appendages. They end up rolling around in the acid and just sizzling and decomposing in it. The one at the back, this one, who still appears to be moving, is gravely wounded. It's kind of mewing in a kind of pathetic tone, and it's just sort of backing away a little bit as half of its form is melted, and its eyes are kind of like looking around.
That was a wicked spell.
Tell me. Webb glances around the corner, peers down the corner to make sure that nothing's coming from behind. And
Looks clear.
okay. And she stays out of the way for now. She watches their back.
All right, cool. She keeps a rear guard. This one, let's see. It's been mutated. Let's do a roll against its intelligence. Oh, it's done. So it's gonna have to. Oh, that's enough. It as it's staggering around, it in its panic, it tries to leave the room, and ends up going through the acid instead. The part of it that wasn't burned starts to sizzle on its one elongated arm, and it falls sideways into the acid and twitches and sizzles as it dies.
Well, that takes care of
Congratulations,
that.
Sandra. You did not run from a fight. I am so proud of you.
Well, of course
That-
not. I'm a little more powerful now.
That is an awesome spell.
That is an interesting spell.
Mm. So you slay what once were those strange, bedraggled creatures that were then mutated into horrors through the magical power of Yslana. I'm sure that Yslana intended it that way. And you win the battle.
Ruad wins.
I pop up out of the mimic box and run promptly into the room to see what's up with the pile of dead bodies.
Oh, watch your step. Watch your step. There's acid
Oh,
on the
God.
floor.
You could dex check. You dex check it. If you make the dex check, you can like roll through it or cartwheel over it.
Rolling it. Dex is 17, the roll is 13.
Yeah, you make it. You hear them warn you. Oh, watch about the acid. And you're like, oh, and you just kind of like leap over it, do a little
Steps on the
handstand.
body, dissolving bad guys.
Yeah. And you step into the room. And in the room there is a great pile of bodies of different species. They've been there for different amounts of time, some for a few days, some for a few weeks, some horribly for a few months. The smell is unpleasant, without a doubt. The room's lit by 2 torches. And you look at them to see if there's anything on them.
I look to see if they're alive first. I will try to rescue anyone that's still living.
Yeah, you
Second,
sort of
I'll
go
loot them.
through them. All right, you have a look through them, and no one appears to be alive. And you start to go through their belongings.
Well, what a shame. What a shame. None of them are alive. I'll just have to loot them.
This is true. And dear friends, you'll have to tune in next week to see what your rogue manages to loot from the bodies.
Ah.
You know that, girls. You're not a murder hobo. You're a loot hobo.
Dun, dun,
Some
dun.
kind of snow hobo.
Well, thank you very much,
Solid
guys. It was awesome, as always.
Solid snake in it. Yes, time ran away from us.
it's
Yeah,
12,
that was good.
man.
Excellent use of spells and a little bit of wild magic.
We got cheered for, I think. Massive crowd.
Yeah, sounds like it.
As always, guys, thanks for coming. It was lots of fun. We will continue your delve into this bizarre old. Could it be a crypt? Is it someone's home? You'll have to find out next week.
Okay, then, guys. Well, enjoy your weeks. I will see you all next week.
Indeed, I will
Good
hang
plan,
out.
Andy.
I'll no doubt be in Discord all week, so if you want to chat, let me know.
I'm sure me and
See
you are
you
going to be
guys
having a
later.
chat this week, Lex. Trust me.
Have a good week, everyone.